This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Welcome back, everybody, to Wrestling Omakase. It is episode number 210, and this week I am pleased to be joined by a returning guest, but making his 2021 debut, has to get that Omakase ballot for 2021, is Mr. Kevin Brown from the Bad Wrestling Podcast.
I am a loyal voter. I think I voted in every one of them.
I think you have, actually.
I think every single one, I end up getting a message from you after, like asking if I'm kidding on one of my picks.
This time, you guys, I think, got... I'm going to look this up to make sure. I think you guys got... what the hell is the name of that stupid fucking team in AEW?
Which one did we go for?
I don't know. The one with Luther? I don't remember what it was. You got it. You got them
the Cast Project with Luther and Serpentico.
Yeah, you got them in the top 10, I think. Let me just confirm this because I want to make sure. The best tag team we have here... God, this is far up. Yes, the Chaos Project with 8 points and 1 first place vote finished in 9th place. This is ahead of a team we're going to be talking about today, the Bakaretsu sisters, who finished in 10th place. Who
I think I actually voted above the... I'm pretty sure I voted like number 2 was them, and then number 3 was Luther. So the Luther Hive really came through.
Yeah, I don't know what... Are you sure you didn't... Because someone gave the Bakaretsu sisters first place vote. Are you sure that wasn't you?
That might have just been
I think it might have been you. But yes,
we loved the sisters.
Yeah, so they got 10th place. Chaos Project got 9th place. There's always, because these categories, especially where because the Dangerous Techers, Taichi and Zack had 85 points, and then Omega and Page at 69, and the Young Bucks had 51. So basically, the entire voting pool was voting for those 3 teams. So any random shit could have snuck into if 2 people voted for it, would get into the top 10.
Thankfully, I definitely only... I don't know who I would have given a sincere tag team vote to, so I must have just voted 3 stupid people.
It was a really hard category last year, to be fair.
Yeah, everything kind of sucked last year.
I was going to say, all the categories were pretty hard, but that one was especially hard. So, I don't know what the fuck... I started thinking about how... So we do mid-year awards every year, too. A mid-year award episode, and that's coming up less than 2 months. I'm like, God, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna vote for.
I think it's been a bit better than last year, but I haven't been watching any of it.
I don't know. It's been...
vote for No More BS Paul White.
I don't watch AEW.
But you still vote for No More BS Paul White?
I've been taking a New Japan break, I guess, as you could tell by the subjects of the show. Because I don't know, there's something after fucking Sakura Gen. People are going to think I'm boycotting them because Ospreay won the title or something. I'm not. I sincerely promise I'm not doing that. We're going to go back to cover New Japan later in the month with these Dontaku shows. I just cannot fucking take these Road to Korakuens anymore. I cannot watch them.
What are they even doing? I don't think I've seen one of those in 2 or 3 years. What are even on those now?
Nothing. I mean, they're finally going to do one with a 6-man title match tomorrow, I think. But before that, it's basically just tag match after tag match after tag match in front of 300 people, all clapping, no cheering. The only reason why those Korakuens were watchable pre-COVID was because at least they were the hottest crowds in wrestling. Like these crowds would go fucking crazy for virtually anything. So you could talk yourself into sitting through some of these Korakuen shows because the crowd goes a long way in wrestling. Now it's just 300 people sitting there clapping. I mean, the shows have gotten completely unwatchable. I just can't.
I mean, they can't be as hot as TJPW.
No, they're not. Well, pre-COVID they were pretty fucking hot, but
Not right now, though.
Not right now. They're not very
Different
hot.
world.
Yeah. And the way Japan is saying about their vaccine rollout, I would not expect, non-clapping crowds to return anytime soon. So, they're saying like maybe by spring of 2022 they'll be done with all adults. So, I don't know. It doesn't look good for that. Isn't it really weird to be an American and be like, yeah, we're leading the way on this thing. It's on this vaccine. It's like so fucking strange.
It makes sense. We took all of them.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's also also because we're awful. But like, even so, though, even taking all of them, I did not think we were going to get to like half of adults in the country have one shot so far.
I feel like I was more pessimistic about how people refusing it, but it seems like most of those people kind of shut up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think between people refusing it and just the general idea that we can't do anything, the government can't do anything correctly in this country.
That's true.
I just kind of thought we'd be at like 20% of adults, but right now, and by mid-April, not 50. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, this is not Pod Saves America. I'm not going to get out here and talk about how great Joe Biden is. But like, if Donald Trump had won, like this is like one area where I can genuinely say I think there'd be like a big difference. Like we'd be at like 25% right now, probably.
I have no idea. I have no idea what he would have done. I think he might have gone the angle of trying to like put his name on it and push it really hard, though.
It's true.
But then he's definitely vain enough for that.
But then the resistance sites would say like they're not going to take it. Because remember, they were already saying that like last October.
Oh yeah,
like Kamala Harris was out there saying, "I'm not we can't take a Trump rushed vaccine." Like it would have been a big controversial thing. So yeah, I just don't. There's no way. There's like no way we'd be above 30% right now. So
something stupid would have happened.
Yeah, or they would have. Their idea to like distribute them would have been like to fly giant planes over the states and like just fucking drop them in these big crates that have like a giant picture of a shot on them or something. I don't know, but like it would have been really stupid. But yeah, that's vaccine talk, I guess. But yeah, America's doing good with them. Japan is not doing good with them, and I don't know. I'm not really sure when we're going to get the non-clap crowds back, and then I mean I've gotten used to them about as much as I can at this point, but yeah, I can't sit through the New Japan Korakuens anymore. So we've been doing and plus there's lots of other stuff going on. I mean, we watched some NOAH and Tokyo Joshi, as we're going to talk about in the show. There's the All Japan Champion Carnival, which has been pretty good so far, and not like fucking blow your doors off or anything, but compared to the 2020 Champion Carnival, it's been like, I don't know. It's like the greatest shit of all time. It's like the 2020 Champion Carnival. I don't know if you watched any of it. It was fucking horrible. And, this year's has been pretty good. So, big difference in quality.
I have not seen any of that. I saw very little of last year's, and I know it was very bad.
Yeah, last year's was horrible. And this year's has been good. So, I guess I'll just do the Patreon plug right now while we're talking about it. Patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase. We're covering all the Champion Carnival nights on there daily. $5 a month gets you all the access. Just put up nights 4 and 5 on Saturday and Sunday. So, you want to hear all of the coverage of all our remaining Champion Carnival shows. Nights 1 and 2 are up there too. Night 3 was on last week's free Omakase, but going forward, all the Carnival stuff will be only on the Patreon. Again, only $5. Plus, you get everything else that'll be exclusive, including next week's Patreon exclusive 5 matches episode. So that will be only on the Patreon feed. As you may have noticed as a listener, we typically skip a week now on the free feed. This is partially to convince you to sign up if you want to hear a show every week still, partially just to maintain my own sanity. So I'm only doing 5 full episodes a month instead of 4. But yes, it's patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase. $5. You get all the Champion Carnival coverage. Next week's Patreon exclusive 5 matches episode everything else we've done on the Patreon for almost approaching a year now. Can't believe I've been doing this shit for a year already.
I remember I was probably on it like probably about last like March, and
It was
you
before. That
you
was
were
before.
saying you were surprised how many people were actually paying.
I think that was before the Patreon, wasn't it? I think I launched
No,
the
it was
Patreon.
right after, or it might have been like when you were about to launch it, and then you
Yeah,
messaged me after. So
I think I launched it in
I'm
June.
glad you've got to the point where it's worth doing daily shows.
Well, these are like once, one or two a week basically. It was when like the New Japan Cup, even though there are only like one or two matches for each show, like that was like every other fucking day, and that was driving me insane. So that's probably also part of why I needed like a 2 or 3 week break from New Japan, because I was doing those fucking New Japan Cup shows every other day, and like that was the first time this really started feeling like a job. So at least at this point, I'm giving the New Japan a little bit of a breather. To be fair, nobody else seems to be watching New Japan right now either, though.
Are
So
you saying you're not a Shinihon freak?
I guess not.
Damn.
But like, do you go to the Super JCast Discord? Like, they're making shit up in there about what happened on today's show because no one is actually indicating they watched the show or talking about it. So the interest level is not high right now, I guess we can say. But I mean, to a degree, right? People always shit on things, like make things more exaggerated when it's like cool to shit on them. But like, when people started talking about like, oh, look at how spread out this wrestling Dontaku tour is, and this tour is bad. I'm like, do you understand this tour fucking sucks every year?
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like people every year with them always forget that their house show tours like are bad.
yeah, this tour fucking sucks. This industry, like up next, people are gonna be saying, oh, I can't believe the Destruction tour looks so. I'm like, the Destruction tour sucks every year. The Dontaku tour sucks every year. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, the only people who are watching that are like the realist heads.
I was
That's not
watching it.
if you're just like a normal if you're like a normal fan who likes the bigger stuff, you were never watching that.
Yeah, but I don't know. So I feel like people do kind of over exaggerate things, but people are also very angry that Osprey won the title. So I get it.
It's like people who get really mad when the World Tag League stinks. Like much weirder and more specific.
He was good. It was good last year though. Weirdly, it's been
Did they
good.
get any funny guests in the middle of COVID?
No, they didn't get any funny guests in, but like I don't know, Taichi and Zach were really good in it. So there's some other teams that were
If there's
good.
going to be if they're actually working with AEW, they need to get Billy Gunn's two sons in there one year.
Like there are a lot of like really funny AEW World Tag League possibilities. You could do the Chaos Project, of course.
You can get Luther back into the Tokyo Dome.
Get Luther back in the Tokyo Dome. I don't know what else is going on. I haven't watched AEW since the pay-per-view, so I'm trying to think.
You can get the Acclaimed, their current rapper gimmick.
The current rapper gimmick, it's true.
I don't think they really want Bear Country.
Probably not. There's some gimmicks where like people, people say like, this would really work in New Japan. The funniest one to me was when like someone was like, Orange Cassidy would never work in New Japan. Like Orange Cassidy would be incredibly over in New Japan. If they put him in there, Toriano, the fans would be going nuts for him in like 5 minutes. I guarantee
There's probably like some specific comedy guys that they wouldn't get, but for the most part, every US guy that goes over there, they seem to get pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, Orange Cassidy would be super popular in Korakuen. I don't know what some of these people talk about sometimes.
They loved the whoop whoop guy over there, but I think they would figure Orange Cassidy out. I don't think it's that hard for him.
Yeah.
And they loved the whoop whoop man.
They really loved him to the point where I sort of understood. Like I expected New Japan to try to bring him back. I guess what I didn't expect was I don't know. I'm throwing out name here, so no one take this as like a source here, like David Finlay or somebody to go to the office and be like, hey, this is bad and don't do it. Because apparently that's what happened. Like a bunch of the Gaijin went over there and were like, yeah, please don't do this. This is really bad. And
I'm surprised. Like did they get it filmed or did they just float it out there and see how the reaction?
They did film the Strong thing apparently.
So the scroll cut exists somewhere.
The scroll cut exists somewhere. Yeah. So
who is the person you could annoy the most into getting them to release the scroll cut?
I think you'd have to go for because it's Strong. You'd probably have to go for Rocky, right? Like you have to get Rocky Romero to do it.
I feel like if you got like. I don't think anyone would want to publicly associate their brand with Skrull, though, which you would have no choice but to do.
Yeah.
That would probably be the problem. Maybe in like 2 or 3 years you can get someone to put it out when he's like hopefully long gone.
Yeah, the scroll cut. But yeah, I mean the Mario scroll thing, and then the Osprey fucking angle, B Priestley, and then winning the title, all happening within like 3 weeks or something. Not the best run of Western publicity there for the old Shinny.
No,
Not great.
I'm really surprised no one who like would have known what was going to happen from that told them before they actually did it.
Yeah.
I feel like they should probably reevaluate how much they trust some of these people.
Yeah, but I mean, it's nice that they made the right decision in the end after an immense public pressure campaign and apparently multiple wrestlers in Japan telling them not to do it. But still concerning it got that far. Anyway, I don't know how we end up on New Japan on a show where I said we're going to talk about New Japan. So let's get into these topics. First of all, I haven't really run down the topics yet. The main event, the true main event, the one we're holding all the way to the end, is Talkin' Titan.
Yeah, we're here to talk some Titan.
That stays till the end. Attack on Titan. The manga has concluded. So we are going to talk spoilers. So first of all, if you're still watching the series, the anime on TV, you don't want to be spoiled. That's the other reason why I'm putting it all the way at the end. So you got plenty of warning. You can still listen to all the wrestling shit. If you want to hear Attack on Titan talk, that comes at the very end. If you just don't care about it at all, you should still listen because it's insane and probably hilarious. But you can also just
do not listen if you care about spoilers, because I will not hold. Nothing is going to be held back.
Yeah, we're just going to go over the ending. But yeah, so people don't know who might be more recent listeners. We've done a few of these, like Attack on Titan segments. Whenever Kevin
every time they like finish, we always like worm me on for shows here whenever an arc finishes.
Yeah.
So we can go into the next one, and we got the big one this time.
The big one, but we got to go over the whole thing this time too. So that'll be this will be like the Attack on Titan retrospective. So that'll be the end, the conclusion here of the show. So that's the main event. We also have Tokyo Joshi still incomplete, which was their big Korakuen show from this past Saturday, right? Yeah, April 17th.
Yeah, it was Saturday. It was Friday night my time, but Saturday there, obviously.
And we also have NOAH, sort of. We have the Neo Breeze Korakuen from Sunday, April 18th. Now, unfortunately, due to a series of unfortunate events, we only watched the top 3 matches. I guess we might as well get into that now, since I was going to start with NOAH anyway. Basically, the Abema normally puts these shows up for anyone to watch at any time, worldwide. And for whatever reason, this time they didn't. It had something to do with it being a free show in Japan. So, I don't know. For some reason, that meant it was geo-blocked for the rest of the world, like most Abema content is. So that was annoying. This Korakuen show, which was Sunday, April 18th, it will be on DDT Universe, or Wrestle Universe as it's now known, this Saturday, April 24th. But that obviously doesn't do anything for us right now. Now, the Real Hero, friend of the show, the Real Hero, did post up the top 3 matches on Twitter. He is still cooking. He posted the top 3 matches on Twitter. So we were able to watch those. Apparently, the full show does exist on Bilibili, but I don't know.
I got it from someone about a half an hour before.
Yeah, so you found it too late, basically, for me to watch it. And part of it also just my schedule this weekend was kind of crazy because, 2 Champion Carnival shows due for the Patreon. I was traveling to New Jersey to see my dad and go to a round 1 there because the one by me is still closed. The one in New York. Why the fuck? Can you please explain to me why the fuck arcades are closed in New York but casinos aren't? What the fuck is the difference?
Yeah, I don't know.
What? Functionally, they are these. I'm not saying there's someone who hates casinos. I love casinos, actually. But, functionally, what the fuck is the difference between a casino and an arcade? It's an indoor building where people are gathering.
Yeah, I don't get why it seems like there's anything still closed. Feels so arbitrary seeing what is open.
Yeah, everything is open. So, why the fuck an arcade?
You can go to movie theaters and shit now.
So they why are arcades the one thing we're like, well, that's no good. I'm like, I went to the one in New Jersey. I mean, everybody had their fucking masks on. It seemed no less fucking safe to me than all this other shit that's open. But I don't know.
Yeah, that must just be in some weird old bylaw or something.
Yeah.
That arcades are classified as something. But I didn't even know there was anything that still wasn't up.
Yeah, they're still. This is like the one state because if you look on the round one website, like New York is like the only state where they haven't been able to reopen their fucking locations. So just annoying. But we went all the way to the new one in Deptford, New Jersey. So if anyone wants a round one Deptford, New Jersey arcade review, it was the worst round one I've ever been to. So in
Oh, that's
America,
sad.
yeah, it fucking sucks because like I don't know, it's like a much smaller space than the other ones I've been to, and they only have one sound voltex machine, and the buttons were really sticky. Like some kid fucking spilled shit on it, and they didn't fix it because the thing's only been open since October. So like, I don't know. You think the machine would be in good condition, but apparently
They
not.
must have bought used machines
Yeah, that's true too. They could just
and
buy a used,
well used machines.
but like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't great, and they didn't have the Japanese karaoke, which sucks too. But whatever. So definitely the bottom tier. There's a new bottom tier of round ones. Before this, the one in Long
Where in
Island was
Jersey was this one?
Deptford, so it's like basically like 25 minutes from Atlantic City or in Philly.
Oh,
Like,
jeez.
yeah, it's really south. I don't know why the fuck they put it all the way down there.
I thought
And
this would
they,
be in like Edgewater or something.
yeah, they are. Well, they already have one in Exton, which is like right over the border in Pennsylvania
Yeah.
by Philly. So it's like, why the fuck they put one in Deptford? I don't know. Like, put it in mid or North Jersey, I guess. But they were trying to put one in Freehold, which would have been a little more to the north, like
The
still
Long Island one is Broadway Mall, right?
Broadway Mall. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been in there, but I've been in the mall, and just looking at it, it looked pretty shitty.
Yeah, I was going to say the Broadway Mall one was my previous bottom tier one, but at least they have two sound voltex machines and they're both pretty good. But other than that, yeah, it is bottom tier. The best one I ever went to was the one in Dallas, and the best one I ever went to in America was the one in Dallas. I don't know why, but the Dallas one was just like they have a huge like space and just so much shit in there. So that was my favorite one. That was like the only one I've been to that really feels sort of close to being like one in like being in one in Japan. And then the Chicago one was pretty cool too. And I think that might be all the ones I went to, right? Unless I'm missing. Oh, and the Exton one in Pennsylvania is okay. But so there's your official round one rankings. But yeah, the point of all this was I was kind of busy this past weekend, so I was planning to try to watch NOAH and Tokyo Joshi today, and then Abema did not want to cooperate, so anyway, we ended up watching the top three matches. So let's get into them here. The main event was Masa Kitamiya and Katsuhiko Nakajima defeating Keiji Mutoh and Naomichi Marufuji. Kitamiya submitting a Muto in 1851 with the prison lock. Where are you on Muto, Kevin? Are you a Muto head? Do you not care? Are you neutral?
I
Are you like
vibe with Muto. I like Muto.
Yeah. Some people really dislike Muto as champion, so
This especially accentuated. He's so old now that all of his selling looks like genuine pain,
oh yeah.
and it's very good.
Yeah, the stuff Muto does well, he does really well. Like he looks like he is getting destroyed in there when he's in there with these like Masa Kitamiya looks like he could break this man in half, and he looks like he's doing it for a lot of the match, which is like, that's cool. I think
People are going to get very mad when Muto just wins again because he's obviously going to, but like he's going to make this guy look very good.
yeah. And I guess the other side of it like is, people say Muto beating these guys is like unrealistic or looks stupid or whatever, but like
This is
I
just how this stuff works.
yeah, I sort of agree that it can look pretty stupid. I think he does a good job keeping his offense to like a lot of holds and stuff where like he doesn't go in there and like fucking kill these people. Like sometimes when I listen to people talk about Muto in this run, they make it sound like he's dominating these matches. And usually he's like putting people in headlocks and like, doing dragon screws and obviously hits his shining wizard, but it's never like he's going in there and just like, I don't know. People act like he's Brock Lesnar. He's not. He's not killing people.
Yeah, no, he doesn't really. He's not like eating guys alive.
Yeah, he kind of
I
gets
definitely don't get that. He's not. He wins all the time, yeah, but he doesn't. He doesn't kill the guys he's in there with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So the unrealistic thing, I get it, but also I think it's kind of overstated because he's not in there, dominating these matches. But yeah, I mean, I consider myself a little more Muto neutral, maybe leaning towards pro Muto. I guess that the the other problem with this Muto argument to me is like the anti-Muto people make it sound like Noah has so many other great options, which I don't know if they do. I mean, clearly just continuing the Go reign, which everyone agrees was awesome, was not an option because he needed fucking surgery. So, they could have gone back to Kaito again, I guess, but like, it's not like Kaito Kiyomiya is like what 23. I mean, he has plenty of fucking time. We have plenty of time to go back to Kaito Kiyomiya. He's already had a big run. I mean, look,
you can't burn people out on him too early.
yeah. I mean, look at fucking Okada. I mean, Okada's like what 30, and people already like, I will staple my eyelids shut if that man gets another long world title reign. And it's like, great. Well, what do you do with the guy for the rest of his career at this point? He's 33. I'm sorry.
They also look like they like killed Okada.
I mean, but yeah, with like with Kiyomiya, it's fine to be patient. You don't have to. The guy doesn't have to be champion, immediately again. So
you don't want to burn people out on him because like the next guy doesn't seem to be in the pipeline yet.
Yeah,
like I don't know who you would think it would be, but the very obvious next of him.
Maybe what's his name? Okay, maybe another Okada actually. Yeah. But I don't know. It's really early for that anyway. But yeah, I mean, this that's why the Muto thing to me is a little, like I said, a little overblown, and I don't think it's going to be like a super long reign anyway. I think he'll lose this belt by.
I'll start complaining about it if they don't do Muto versus Akiyama as the main event for like the big dumb thing they're doing.
What's the Saitama thing? They're not. Well, that's not going to be the main event.
No, what's it going to be?
It's Well, I don't know if they said the main event yet, but Akiyama's wrestling Hiroshima.
That's disappointing. When are they going to do they have to do like the non-title, but both of them versus before they make them drop it.
Yeah,
I figured that would be like the whole point of them doing it.
That was my thought too, but it did not happen. So because apparently at some point,
I was going to talk about how sick Nosawa is, but if he's not delivering, then I may have to walk some of that back.
Because they said, apparently I missed this, but like a month ago they did say that the KOD Openweight and the GHC titles will be defended at that Saitama show. So at that point, it became obvious they weren't going to do those, those two, that match. I get it could just be a problem where like neither one of them wants to job to the other, but I don't know.
Yeah, that could be too.
But you can always get around that by doing a tag. So I don't know.
I figured they were going to do it. I figured that was like the whole point of doing it.
Maybe they will do it by, because this thing, the Saitama show is in June. I mean, you can always do another big show. I mean, they do Ultimate Party in November. That would be kind of a long reign, especially for Muto. But yeah,
that might be a little too long of a run.
Yeah,
I love Muto, but I think people will. You can't burn that one out.
Yeah. As far as this match, I thought it was good. We had Muto and Kitamiya starting out with like a lot of like, mat wrestling, and that's, Muto was controlling it on the mat for a while. Nakajima and Marufuji tagged in, and Nakajima was hitting these really hard leg kicks. Like those leg kicks he hit for it looks like he's trying to break the guy's leg. And then he tagged back out to Kitamiya pretty quickly after that. And then the only problem with having Nakajima and Marufuji in the same match is when Marufuji came back with some of his own kicks and like a super kick, it looked kind of ridiculous after the Nakajima kicks. It's just like, yeah, your kicks don't really compare, buddy. You probably should have just like not bothered. But then Muto at one point gets Kitamiya in his STF. That was just before the 10-minute call. Kitamiya was able to make it to the ropes to break. And this crowd, all crowds seem to love Nakajima in this role, but this crowd fucking loved that double foot choke routine. Like they were clapping louder for that whole sequence as he like kept repeatedly choking Marufuji than they did for the entire rest of the match. So, I mean, I guess it's a very popular spot. Muto at that point or Marufuji, I should say, was exchanging chops with Nakajima later. That was the one place where he could match Nakajima in stiffness because he does throw a really hard chop. So that was a great exchange. And Muto came back with a very kind of sloppy step up knee in the corner. But then Nakajima hit a basement dropkick on Muto. And that's what you were talking about earlier, kind of, where like everything looks like it's going to kill him. When anybody hits any kind of thing to the knee on Muto, everybody like grabs their fucking chest like they're about to watch this man be paralyzed. So, it really does it is like a gasp kind of moment.
He's very good at playing to this shit.
Yeah, like he leans into it. So, then Nakajima tags back into Kitamiya. He hits a Samoan drop and a senton for a 2 count. Muto, though, blocks a Kitamiya lariat. Kitamiya, in turn, blocks a Shining Wizard. Muto said, motherfucker on the first Shining Wizard. But then, when he goes for it again, he yells motherfucker this time. That was really, kind of funny. But Kitamiya does the pop-up no-sell and then drops him with a Saito suplex. And then he just, really starts targeting Muto's knee after that. He does another Saito suplex, and then he gets Muto to tap out to his prison lock after, grabbing him by the ears and headbutting him while they're in the hold. The headbutt busted them both open. Hell of a finish. Covered Muto in blood afterwards, especially. Just a really good visual, and definitely helps Kitamiya look like a more serious challenger heading into Nagoya later this month. So, good match. I would say, basically on the level with the previous two. Obviously, some of the Muto stuff is always going to look slow, but I don't think he really botched anything either other than maybe that knee, you could argue. And Nakajima helped bring a little dose of excitement when needed. So I went 3.5 stars. Good match. But yeah, just your standard hype tag, but a little better quality than you might often see from that type of match.
I thought that would have been a very good TV main event for the pay-per-view.
Yeah. But yeah, any
the bleeding at the end, that's a great way to send it off.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of thing you put that's going to be great in a video package. So, any other final thoughts on this?
No, yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I mean, I'm definitely going to watch all the Muto shit, but I'm definitely more excited for this now.
The semi-main event was for the GHC Junior Heavyweight title. Atsushi Kotoge defeats Nioh in 23:01 with the kill switch. He's the 45th champion. He gets his first defense here. Kotoge is a weird guy, right? He's had a weird career. I mean,
I know you've been watching this shit through thick and thin. I know you're one of the few other people who's actually sat through his whole career at this point.
Yeah. Well, I don't know anything about what he was doing in Osaka Pro, but it's so weird that he comes from Osaka Pro. He's this junior heavyweight tag guy with Harada, right? And that's pretty much what I think most people know him for. He has all these really, probably all the major highlights of the the Bushiroad Oni Noah period. I mean, those junior tag title matches were on some of those shows the only highlight.
Yeah, he was probably the best in-ring guy of that whole time.
Yeah. And he and Harada really carried the company in a lot of ways. Then, of course, Bushiroad gets bought out. And, Noah goes in different directions.
Is that when it goes into Noah the Reborn?
Yes, Noah the Reborn. And Kotoge, when they announced Kotoge was graduating to heavyweight, I remember being am I thinking of the right guy? Because he is so fucking skinny.
I was expecting, when they announced that, I thought New Japan, a bunch of the guys were just going to jump for New Japan. And they desperately needed to fill the roster.
Because and that didn't really happen. I mean, 2 guys.
Oh yeah, nobody important.
All Suzuki-gun, including
much
Kanemaru.
Respect to Kanemaru, but he's important in heart. But he wasn't a guy they were building anything on.
Yeah, they lost none of the heavyweight stars pretty much, and they kept Go Shiozaki, who had just come over. But yeah, I mean when they announced Kotoge's moving up, I was am I thinking of the right guy? Because he is so fucking skinny. He's not he's not short, but he's not like Zack Sabre Jr., who's so tall, despite the fact that he's so skinny. You can kind of understand why, they made him a heavyweight. Kotoge is I don't know, he's 5'9" or 5'10" or something. Very skinny. And when I heard he was moving up to heavyweight, I was what? It's just really bizarre. Really, really bizarre move. And then they decided to make his heavyweight career all about his cape.
That's an all-time run.
What the fuck was do you remember? You ever seen that picture with Kotoge wearing the cape to some award banquet or something, and some other wrestler is looking at him what the fuck is wrong with you? Just such a great picture. And
The cape run is great.
and like he's a member of like some kind of like NOAH. I don't remember what they were called. I don't remember what they was called. It was like a new blood in NOAH. I know they had a name, but I really don't remember what the name was. I'm guessing you don't either because you're not.
No, I do
in.
not remember that.
Yeah, it was like a NOAH new blood basically. And I remember that Go Shiozaki was in it, even though he was probably already like 36. Kotoge was in it, and a bunch of guys like that were in it. I just remember thinking like they were like the biggest like dorks of all time. Like they could not have made this NOAH new blood look stupider if they tried. And Kotoge, there was Kotoge with his fucking cape.
I think he looked very cool. I have respect for the cape.
And then one day it's just like, oh yeah, he's a junior again. I was like, what? So they graduated him and then they ungraduated.
It was the right decision, but it was sad.
And then suddenly he's like challenging for some British title from some British company I've never even heard of. I think weren't they the ones who did like 15 people at Mania? Is that them?
Which one was this? This is IPW UK.
IPW UK, right? Yeah, the ones. So did you go to the start of the show or no?
So my car got totaled that day, and I never made it there.
Oh, there you go. I'm very sorry to hear about your car. That sucks. So I was at the Stardom show as the people were leaving this IPW UK show, and like seriously, like 10 people walked out. Like 10 people left the building. I'm really not exaggerating. 10 fucking people. Some of them could have been like staff members for all I know. Or wrestlers. I don't know what the fuck IPW UK wrestlers look like. But yeah, 10 people walked out the front door. I was just like, okay. I really should like stop one of them and just ask for an interview. Like, excuse me.
How did you get here?
Like, how did you get? Why did you choose? Like, how have you heard of IPW UK? Why did you choose to go to this? Why? Like, who are you? Like, I just really want to meet the American IPW UK fan. Or are you a fan who came all the way over from England to go to WrestleMania weekend?
Yeah, I was going to say because the British always make their way here for that.
Yeah,
and they show up pretty strong. So it was probably just like their people.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very, very bizarre, but yeah, it was a very so yeah, IPW UK title. He was, I think he either challenged for that or he won it or something. And yeah, and then he never reunites with Harada. He forms the Full Throttle unit with God, I guess it was like Yohei, or Yohei was the one who kicked them out for it. So who were the other two? It was Seki Yoshioka and one other guy who I'm not thinking of. Oh, Hajime Ohara. One of the guys he feuded with for his entire junior tag title run. There was like Kano and Ohara against Harada and Kotoge. And if I remember reading like the translations, they never really mentioned it. It was like, you'd think he'd be like, yeah, this is this guy that, we used to like beat each other up all the time and now we're friends. And they never really explained it. And then like a month and a half later, the two of them kick him out of the unit for being too nice to Harada, and Yohei takes his place, and he's back with Harada. So it's like one of the longest strainers, and all this happened, by the way, in like 3 or 4 years, I think. And it all ended up with him back with Daisuke Harada. So
the one thing about NOAH constantly jumping owners is it always feels like it's doing like weird slight resets to the continuity.
Yeah. So
like it always just feels like it's a slightly different promotion each time it kind of changes.
But at the end of the day, he came back together with Harada, so there's something. It's kind of romantic, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so Kotoge
they need to bring the cape back.
They have to.
But now doing like a cape comedy match with Kendo Kashin.
But yes, now he is the junior champion. He beat Seki Yoshioka for it on the Budokan show. And this was his first defense. And I will be honest, I did not know what to expect from this match because it's capeless Kotoge against the former Hiroki, who like
what's he more famously known as?
Hiroki. It was like it's written as High 69.
Yes.
Yeah. So like who's like basically just like a Kaientai dojo dude. I don't know. Not very good. Very indie. And I didn't know what to expect from this. And I will say, it was very dull to start. Like they exchanged like super exciting chin locks and stuff. They basically took it from the New Japan school of doing a very boring first 10 minutes. I had very little notes to take because it was just so slow and boring. They hit each other sometimes pretty hard, but this was coming right after the match we're going to talk about next, where they hit each other much harder. So it was just kind of even then it kind of looked like it couldn't keep up really. But it was just all so slow. Which like when I'm watching a junior title match, especially, I'm expecting some action, guys. It's like, come on, like speed this up a little bit.
It
And they were
doesn't have to
really
be high flying, but there should be something, and they
should
didn't
be
do
fast.
very much here.
Yeah, but Kotoge finally does a decent tope con hilo to Nioh on the floor just before the 10-minute call, and the match really picks up from there. Like, there's a lot faster action, which is ultimately what I want to see out of a junior title match after all. Kotoge hits a top rope Rana. Nioh comes back with this pretty cool sunset flip powerbomb with the second rope. And, pretty much everything after 10-minute call. Lots of exciting action, really back and forth, fast stuff. And Kotoge ends up beating Nioh with the kill switch for the win. So, yeah, started out rough, but picked up after the first 10 minutes. I thought it was good. The rest of the match was good enough to go 3.5. So, a good match. But you may literally be better off just fast forwarding the match 10 minutes because there is no reason to watch the first 10 minutes of this match. But after that, it's good.
Yeah, I have not. Yeah, this was not a hugely eventful one.
Yeah.
This was fine.
Yeah.
That feels like a cop-out answer. I feel like I just want to talk about whenever I see him, I just want to like think back to the cape.
The cape. We all miss it.
Post about Kotoge's cape once again.
But yeah, the rest of the match was good. The rest of the match was actually great, which is why I think it was good overall. But like, yeah, the first 10 minutes was pretty boring. Nothing like horrible or anything, but just pretty boring.
No, they were just kind of going.
Yeah. And there was no challenger that came on afterwards, as far as I could tell. I looked on Hisame's blog, which is pretty much your go-to NOAH resource. I should always like tell people this stuff because I always forget how many people come in really late and stuff, and don't really know. So I'm going to say
haven't been following years of NOAH lore.
Yeah, so like if you're looking for NOAH coverage, it's like twitter.com. I don't know why I'm saying that part. At HI5AME. So Hisame with a 5 instead of an S. Like she is your go-to person for NOAH coverage. I mean, she does a blog with translations. She just works way too hard for someone who is not being paid by the Pro Wrestling NOAH. She's a real throwback, right? Because like,
so you're someone who just does this.
Yeah, because like when I first got into it, this was everybody. Like the fucking early to mid aughts. It was like just all these people who were following all this stuff as a passion project and posting all this shit, so the rest of us could watch and
like try and
enjoy
follow
it. Yeah, so like it was totally that's how everybody was. Now, of course, you have New Japan's entire English operation. You have DDT Tokyo Joshi English Update.
Tokyo Joshi gets like multiple English commentary shows a month.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff for like. I really, if I stop and think about it, I'm like, wow, these English speaking fans have it really really good now. But I remember that was like a conversation in the Voice Wrestling Discord a few weeks ago, I think, because I was like, they're reading some other people say, they find All Japan really hard to follow because it's or hard to get into because they don't have any English commentary or like translations. And I remember being like, this is so far from my experience. It was like, trying to figure out what Japanese wrestling was actually happening in Japanese wrestling with like
even like
early
5 or 6 years ago, you
Yeah.
could like never find easy to read schedules for this shit.
Yeah, it was basically like early machine translations was basically what I was using, and like I don't know, it's just so far.
It got better so quick too.
Yeah,
like it really feels like this whole movement to get all of this shit in English is like 3 years old.
Yeah, so
and now it's just now like every single promotion is easy to follow.
Yeah, now people are like, well, if they won't give me subtitled promos, then I'm not gonna bother. I'm just like, okay, you should try getting into this in 2002. That's all I can tell you.
Buying DVDs.
Well, I told the story a million times. I had like a Japanese immigrant rental store near my house like which I would just go in there and like rent them all for like $1. So it was pretty great. I did not have to like wait for them to come online because like these rental stores, I guess a lot of Japanese immigrants in New Jersey were watching Japanese wrestling because they were all getting them. Like every fucking show they would get them in. So I was like, okay, because they basically just recorded off TV, right? That was basically what they were doing. So anything that they aired on like Samurai TV or any of the other networks at the time, it would just show up there every week.
Someone who had the feed would just keep making copies and sending them out to you.
Yeah, so like they just kept sending them to this rental store, and I just would go in there and rent them for $1 a DVD. So it was pretty great. But yeah, that place is still there, by the way. It's at the Mitsuwa in Edgewater, which actually now that I'm thinking about it,
second shout out to Edgewater on this episode.
Edgewater, that is true.
I had a job interview like a month ago there.
That's not their original location, but because they used to be like a standalone store, but they moved into the Mitsuwa, and yeah, it's still there. It's in like the Mitsuwa in Edgewater. So that is it's just kind of crazy.
Oh, is that by like that big supermarket thing with
Mitsuwa
food court? Yeah,
Mitsuwa is the supermarket. Yeah, the Japanese supermarket.
I went there when I went out there for the interview.
It's great.
And it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you need anything Japanese, and the food court has a really good tempura place that I love. So that's usually what I get when I go there. But it's been a while. I haven't gone since pre-COVID. Definitely have to get back out there at some point. But yes, so the DVD rental store, like that's what you should have to do. Go there, rent your DVDs, and try to vaguely figure out what's going on without any English support. That's what I did. But yeah, so I don't remember what because I was giving people the link. But yeah, so like that's how, if you want to follow Noah more and get like more Noah information, that's the one to go to. There are times when I will get DMs, Kevin, from people who are like, how do I follow X company? And I start giving this this just happened like last week. This guy asked, how do I follow All Japan? And I start giving him this big long answer. I'm like, oh, okay, well, they have an English Twitter account. They only post this and that. Here's this another website where you can look at news articles you can translate. And here's this other website that has results and blah, blah, blah. And at the very end, I wrote him like 3 paragraphs. He just writes me, that's great stuff, but I just meant, where do I watch it? And I was like, oh, HGBW.tv. I was like, okay. You were just like asking literally, how do I watch the fucking thing? And I'm just like trying to give you all these complicated directions.
Deepest stories.
It was just like, yeah, very. I just forget
the entire backstory of Joe Dowring.
It's just very, very. I'm very stupid sometimes. That's the moral of that story. But yes, I just forget how. That sometimes people are just asking where they watch it. There you go. The third and final match we watched on this Noah show, Kazuyuki Fujita and Kendo Kashin defeating Takashi Sugiura and Kazushi Sakuraba. Fujita pinning Sugiura in 9:15 with the face kick. This was fucking awesome. I mean,
yeah, no, this was like the best match on either show. This was so good.
Fujita has that face going before the bell rings. You know the one, if you're listening. He had the face.
If you've seen him, you know exactly where we're going. And
Sugiura was looking right back at him. But despite that stare down, it was Kendo and Sakuraba who started out with some mat wrestling. Now, I will say, I don't agree it was the best match of either show because of the Kendo, Kashin, and Sakuraba portion. Because I was kind of bored.
I want to see. There's nothing I want to see more than the Kendo Kashin versus Sakuraba in my shows.
The mat wrestling was fine, but then they started doing all the fucking this stupid shit with the glass on the outside. I'm so sick of that spot. Kendo Kashin does it in every match.
I will never not pop for I love Kendo Kashin.
I like him too, but I don't know. This was kind of boring me. But then they get back in the ring, and Fujita and Sugiura are in the ring, just staring each other down. And the crowd starts going the clap crowd version of apeshit for this. They are clapping so loud. They are so into these two men staring each other down, which I feel like the cowards who say these stare downs are bad never seem to acknowledge that people in Japan seem to love it. I mean, the clap crowd seemed to love it, the fucking match with like the half hour stare down with him and Go, it finished like third place in the in one of those big matches. Like I think in like multiple match of the year polls, it made the top 3.
I didn't even see what the like actual in Japan ones were this year.
Yeah, I think this match, one of the ones the fans voted for. I think it's the weekly pro wrestling like fan voting one. This finished top 3. So like they love that match, Fujita and Go. I think
People
it also
love
did well.
Fujita. He's
Yeah,
a hit.
people love Fujita, but yeah, I don't know. Like this, so yeah, Fujita and Sugiura, the fans love the stare downs. I think that's all there is to it. But Sugiura had enough of this shit. He starts throwing some elbows, hits a slap, it leads to an elbow exchange, and these elbows got really hard, especially from Fujita, who just like he's just fucking hitting this guy in the face. Sugiura does start throwing some harder elbows as well. Then they start throwing these hard slaps to the face. They really just let each other have it. Then they switch to the chest. And I've seen so many between New Japan and All Japan, especially in All Japan, the Champion Carnival so far, so many pedestrian strike exchanges that went on way too long. And like, there was one on like All Japan, either night 4 or 5, that was like super pedestrian and went on forever. And this was like so much better. Like
this is one of like the best one of these I've seen in like a long time.
They were just beating the piss out of each other for the entire portion. And again, this is not even the title match. This is just a hype tag on a Korakuen. So this was awesome stuff. And Fujita finally drops Sugiura with a standing lariat. Sugiura gets right back up. So Fujita just hits a second one. That puts him down. He hits 2 straight soccer ball kicks. He pulls the ref off when he tries to check on him. Hits a third, covers him with one knee, and that's the pin. So he pinned his challenger ahead of the title match this month in Nagoya. We'll see what that means. But yeah, this was like sub 10 minutes, but like, and I thought the Kendo Kashin versus Sakuraba part was pretty throwaway. But Sugiura versus Vegeta was fucking awesome. So I split the difference and went 3.5 on this as well. But I think it was the match of the night because the Fujita and Sugiura stuff was just so great.
Yeah, I thought this whole thing was great. I hope they just use Fujita forever. Somehow, like the flabbier and kind of sillier looking he gets, the better he gets.
Yeah, I mean, it is just a I don't know. It's like Vegeta. I don't know. Like the more like old and like it like really just adds to his vibe. I guess like he looks like a old fucking master or something. It looks like he could kill you by looking at you, which is exactly what he tries to do. I guess he just tries to kill you by looking at you. So. It was a great all-time Teddy tweet. You remember, I don't know if you're watching the Fujita Go match live when I think Teddy just like tweeted out they're going so fast you can't even see them. It's like, yeah, I mean that's pretty much.
I don't remember that one. That's very good.
But yeah, I don't know. I love Fujita. But Fujita's a point when people talk shit about Kazuki Fujita at this point, I immediately think less of their opinion because
I think like 95% of it is people whining about shit they never watched.
Yeah, it's like I don't really. I mean, people are like, "Oh, he's so unsafe and so horrible." I'm like, I
don't know. He never looks like he slaps hard.
He definitely beats. He like elbows the shit out of people. The kicks don't look that bad.
No, the only kicks look fine. Like those slaps probably sting a bit, but like that's you sign up for this.
Yeah,
I don't think any of those guys are complaining that he slaps them too hard.
Like I remember he did some really hard kicks against what's his name in that match. He's now in the Funky Express. Shuhei Taniguchi, and that crazy fucking 5-minute match they had at Sumo Hall in late 2019. But like they probably like decided to do that before the match. Like he probably was like, okay, kick me as hard as you can. I'm like, because this is how we're going to get noticed. It's like, I don't know. Like you can clearly see that he can hold back on these kicks if he if he needs to. And these kicks that he did here, I didn't think were that bad. But I don't know.
He's been doing this for a while. I think he knows how to pull a punch by now.
Yeah, I think people really overhype the unsafe thing, especially when it's like pro wrestling and like lots of stuff that people don't think of as unsafe is very unsafe. So I mean, nobody ever like screams about. It's one of these things where it's like, okay, people love to scream about like Fujita being unsafe because he's a shooter or whatever, but no one watches like Kenny Omega give Okada a dragon suplex off the top rope, which I guarantee you fucked up Okada more than half the shit people are complaining about with Fujita. No one ever watches that spot and goes, "That's so unsafe." I mean, I guess some people do, but
I mean,
like,
some people definitely
nope,
do.
the same people who yell at Fujita definitely don't.
Yeah, no, it's definitely I don't know. I think most Fujita hate is people complaining about something 20 years ago they never actually watched.
Yeah. So he definitely owns now. And most of the stuff from 20 years ago was great too.
Yeah, no, he owned
So,
then too.
I mean,
He deserves to get full credit for owning.
people should watch that Tanahashi match from like New Japan. I think '04. It's somewhere around there. The Shibata match is awesome from around the same time. I mean, there's so much cool stuff in that run too. It's one of these things where like people, I don't know, like there's a certain narrative around that era of New Japan, obviously, and like, Fujita gets a lot of he weirdly gets a lot of the blame, like he was booking the fucking thing or something. But I'm like, no, if you just want to just watch the matches are great. So
I wonder who the person who is all of this stuff always ends from like one specific guy like 20 years ago being the only one who was like posting about this in English. Who was the guy that started the Fujita hate?
maybe like Zach Arnold or somebody.
What did Ditch think of? What was Ditch a Fujita head? I feel like
I
Ditch
have no
would
idea.
like Fujita.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what Ditch thought of him. I mean, I'm sure Meltzer probably hated him.
Oh yeah, there's no way. There's no way
Yeah.
Dave liked him.
Yeah, Dave, I'm sure hated him. But yeah, I don't know. I can't really. I wonder if Stewart liked him.
I'm gonna be like a very normal person after we do this and like scour the ditch to figure out if it's up. He takes it down. Like he keeps taking it down until people then ask him to put it back up.
Yeah, because he's no longer involved in anything wrestling, right?
No.
Yeah.
He only. Do you know what he does now?
I don't. Is it like something right wing or something?
Do you know what the Heritage Foundation is?
Oh, is he really with the Heritage Foundation?
He writes. He just like writes articles about how bad he hates roads for the Heritage Foundation.
How about he hates roads?
Yes.
Okay.
He just hates public infrastructure.
Oh, okay. Well, because I know there's some other like Death Valley Driver guy who like is a full on white nationalist. I can't remember his name.
Do you know about Parv?
That's what I'm thinking of. I think.
Yeah,
Right?
Parv used to be like a knockoff Sargon of Akkad.
Yeah. So like, there's so many of these types. They turned out to be, I guess the kids would say, problematic. But
Also, speaking of PWO, are you ready for GWE to come back?
no. I went to this. I joined the Slack channel. Did you ever join the Slack channel?
Oh, I was in the Slack channel.
It's horrible. It was like basically, I don't know, like some of the most annoying gimmicks, like gimmicking in the middle of like people trying to have sincere conversations, and like
I was in that as smoking Yoshino.
smoking Yoshino. I don't know if I saw you or not. I was there like really early. And
yeah, I found it way later after somebody like specifically told me.
Yeah, I think I was in there pretty early. I never said
Mike
anything.
put me onto that.
I never said anything because I was just like watching it and like trying to see if there's anything worth. I don't know. Like I'm at this point, I feel like I'm too old to just do out and out trolling. I'm not really that interested in like. I don't know. I'm not really that interested in arguing about wrestlers at this point. It just kind of seems like I don't really give a shit. It's like if you think this guy who I think is stupid is the best wrestler of all time, that's good. I don't really care. It's not a big deal.
I disagree. I think I will keep fighting until everyone agrees that it's just Inoki.
Okay, but I don't. I just nothing really bothers me. Like I guess I get a little annoyed when people say Naito's bad or whatever, but that's like about the only one that
I just need to spread the word of the Big Chin Karate Man.
There you go. But at this point, even with Naito, it's like he basically won that fucking war. He got his big run.
Yeah, he got his big win. He got his big title run. I don't think.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
I don't think there's anything to fight there.
Yeah, and I don't really feel that passionate about any younger wrestlers at this point. So I don't know. Just don't really. The entire like. I mean, it feels like the discourse of wrestling right now is just like so boring. I don't know. It's like everybody's like gets together to yell about like ratings and like.
There's just so much of it that's happening at once now that it's like the discourse is it's only people reacting to things that's happening now.
Yeah,
Which
I mean,
is just
like,
not gets kind of tiring.
yeah, there's just like nothing. There's nothing interesting going on. I guess I don't know. I feel like I look at Twitter, I scroll through these tweets. There's never any. I mean, you've followed me on Twitter a while. I used to get in these fucking arguments with people.
Yeah, I don't know, just the way people talk about this shit is different now.
Yeah, there's no arguments to get in anymore. I mean, there's just nothing. Maybe I'm just getting old, but there's
I
nothing.
think a lot of it is like the fan base for this feels like it's grown pretty exponentially in the past like 2 or 3 years even.
Yeah.
So it just most of the people who talk about this shit now have like no interest in just pedantically screaming about 2003 New Japan booking because they're all normal and they've never watched that. I really think that's mostly it, and not in like not in like a condescending they never saw anything. Like it just like just most of these people didn't watch this until 4 years ago.
Yeah, there's just no. I don't know. There's no, and like the big thing in the New Japan circles used to be like people yelling about Kenny Omega and stuff, and that's completely gone now.
Yeah,
And
I think I don't think people will fight Ospreay as hard because I think the people who are mad about him are maybe not all of them are going to stop watching, but they're all going to stop talking about it.
yeah. Yeah, the Ospreay people are like the Ospreay thing has not become the same. Well, the thing with the Ospreay thing is if it was just his wrestling, I think, and it's just like his persona,
no one attacked Kenny with like, or not even attacked because that's the wrong way to put it. But no one disliked Kenny in the same way.
Yeah, exactly. Like if it was just that, I think there'd be like crazy Ospreay things going on right now. But like with this Ospreay thing, you have a huge subset of the people who actually like watching him just don't want to defend him anyway. So
yeah,
like nobody wants to log on Twitter and be like, "Yeah, Ospreay's great," because it's like, well, you look like a fucking.
No one wants to be like the Benoit fan.
Yeah,
or like
exactly.
the Teddy Hart fan, or like any of that. No one even you kind of have to enjoy that guy in silence. You can't go to bat for him anymore.
Yeah. So nobody. So the argument's kind of very neutered on both sides, I guess.
Yeah, no one wants to say, well, actually, he's good, but then then just be told they support rape.
Yeah. So
no one wants to end up in that point.
Yeah. So it's just and people in general just like retreated their corners and stuff. So
especially like the New Japan people seem to have like all moved to Discords.
Yeah, which are
them more than any of the fan bases seem like the one that's just like the most kind of away from everyone else now.
Yeah, the Discords are. I'm in like two. I'm in the Super J-Cast and the Voice of Wrestling Network one. I guess things can get a little heated in both of them, but still not as much. I guess
there's probably way less people who just have wildly different opinions in the crowd in there.
Yeah, like you can't really understand like 2016 through 2018 pure Twitter unless you lived through it, I guess, because it was fucking
everyone
wild.
was arguing about some like very fun shit.
Yeah, it was like nonstop people screaming at each other about Enochiism and
remember the Enochiists?
The Enochiist people. People spent so much time yelling.
It was like 15 guys who watched like 3 shows of Big Mouth Loud on YouTube that had like 300 other people yelling about them for like 3 months.
Yeah, it was like 15 people. They were all 16 years old. They all didn't watch any of it, and people were like obsessed with them. It was like.
They were so mad about these guys.
I know. Everybody, the Enochiist Chronicles, it was really something. Then, of course, you get the Enochiist Civil Wars that went on for a long time after that, which was maybe even funnier than the actual Enochiism. Like, you knew a group like that could never stay together.
No, and now I think most of, at least the ones I remember, just all don't even talk about this stuff anymore.
Yeah, there's a few that talk about it a little bit, I guess, but like a lot of them.
Yeah, most of like the people involved in that, at least the ones I still follow, just seem to all like have moved on from it completely.
Yeah, but they're not lifers like you and me, Kevin.
No,
you're not old.
They're not like arguing on old forums about how people need to watch like Bob Backlund and Inoki matches.
You're not like I don't know if you're old enough yet to be considered a lifer.
I don't think I am.
Once I got to a
I think I
certain,
need to hit. I think I need to hit 30.
yeah, like once you hit 30 and you're still watching wrestling and like talking about the internet, it's just like, okay, well, I guess I'm never getting out of this. But
Yeah, I feel like I'm already stuck with it, but it still needs to be like a few more years.
yeah. Anyway, so that was Noah. Because again, we didn't watch the first 4 matches. I'll get the results anyway. What the fuck? Match 4 was Ogawa, Hayata, and Susumu beating Kotaro Suzuki, Ikuto Hidaka, and Nosawa out of the question in 13-16. It's still awesome how it translates that. And Nosawa wrong guy, Nosawa out of the question. Tag team match. The team who's going to be teaming up in the NOAH DET show, Kaito Kiyomiya and Yoshiki Inamura. They get the win over the Funky Express, Mohamed Yone and Shuhei Taniguchi. Kaito pinning or submitting, it looks like, Taniguchi in 12:09. I kind of need to go back and watch that at least just to see Funky Taniguchi. Seems like gonna be awesome. Have you seen any of the pictures of Funky Taniguchi yet?
I have, and it's very good. I know you were a Bushido like watcher, unfortunately, so I know you love Maybach.
Yeah, I love Maybach. It's true.
I want his staff back. I really miss the staff.
Yeah, I mean the Maybach gimmick was like you have to really go even further back because like when that gimmick just dropped into Noah, which I feel like people who saw Evil drop into New Japan thought that was really weird, and it was pretty fucking weird when Evil dropped into New Japan, full King of Darkness with the scythe and everything. But Maybach dropping into Noah in like 09 or 2010 or whatever the fuck it was way weirder because like Noah at that point was like completely serious promotion, had never really had anything cartoony at all, and here comes this fucking staff carrying fucking I don't know what the hell he's supposed to be, like the Angel of Death Man or something. It was like I remember everybody being like, "What the fuck is this?" It was very confusing. Daisuke Hiromu. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Even when I first started posting about Noah, that was only like 12 or 13, and even then there were only like 30 people who were watching it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's insane seeing how much the base for some of this stuff has grown.
Yeah. I mean, people say, "Oh, nobody watches anything except New Japan." I'm like, "Oh, you don't know what nobody watching."
Yeah, I've definitely seen like English Noah shows that have probably been seen by 40 other English-speaking people. You know?
Yeah. Daisuke Harada beating Kawai Fujimura in 6:11, and then your opener was Ohara, Yoshioka, and Yohei beating Junta Miyawaki, Kinya Okada, and Yashitaka Yano in 10:36. Again, sorry we couldn't get to these first 4 matches, but for these Noah undercards, my reviews are usually like, "This is pretty good. This is fine." I mean, I'm usually not much to say about these things anyway. So
I'm sure these were all fine.
Our last thing on Noah, I guess, the upcoming show, Noah the Glory, on Thursday, April 29th, is their upcoming big show, which we will cover here on Omakase. The main event, the GHC heavyweight title, Keiji Mutoh versus Masa Kitamiya. I would agree with what you said earlier. Probably no chance Kitamiya wins this one.
I mean, even if you hate Muto and like the deepest level, I think you probably just have to accept that he's holding the belt until at least the Big Dome show.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to live with him until that, I think.
Then the match I cannot fucking wait for: Kazuki Fujita and Takashi Sugiura for the GHC national title. Sugiura could win that. I could see it.
I think he probably will.
Yeah. But this is gonna fucking own. I cannot wait for this match. I mean, these two are gonna beat the shit out of each other. But
you would probably know better than me because you can actually sort of read his posts. But where is Hideki?
Hideki Suzuki?
Yeah.
Good question. I don't know.
It really feels like they have the entire squad other than him. They really just need to complete the gang.
Yeah. I mean, you really overstate my Japanese reading abilities, I have to say.
I mean, it's better than mine, which is 0.
So Hideki only ever tweets about fucking...
He loves soccer.
Yeah, he loves
the Juventus journal.
Yeah, I mean, he is I don't know. Like, he has retweeted some random...
He tweets about Julia.
Yeah, he tweets about Julia. I don't really see anything like saying, "This is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing." Okay, here's a picture of him on a beach. He's hanging out by a fucking dragon. Hideki's one of these people who I always like. I follow who like you follow in wrestling. He's tweeting about he has a lot of tweets about the Super League. He wants to know if the Super League means the end of UEFA. There you go.
Yeah, there's tons of that one site. Every time I see the site on the feed, I just know that Hideki is doing okay.
But yes, what I was going to say is Hideki is one of these people who's in wrestling that has to be independently wealthy. Because I don't understand how else he's like living his life otherwise. Because he never wrestles regularly for a promotion more than 3 months at a time. And he, half the time when I look at his feed, it's like, here I am next to a random dragon on a beach somewhere, like a dragon statue. I'm like, okay. Is that you're just backpacking around Japan? I don't know. Like he's a guy who does not. Money must not be a big thing for him. I don't know what to say.
No,
but
yeah, I don't know. There's like it feels like every 6 to 8 months now, there's someone saying he's like about to be signed, but it also doesn't feel like WWE is exactly loading up on Japanese people anymore.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So he could just be kind of vanishing for his like every couple of months thing.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly, supposedly the WWE Japan thing is not dead, or actually Japan, unfortunately. But so I guess he could just be waiting. But I don't know. I mean, at this point,
it seemed like the original wave of people they were gonna bring into it either gave up or got moved to different places.
Yeah, Mako went to UK, so
yeah, Akiyama obviously is just never there.
Yeah,
I don't know what Kendo Kashin was supposed to do, but he came home.
Yeah, he was briefly like an NXT trainer in the.
He was in Florida.
Yeah, he was in Florida. So I don't know. Well, the point is, I don't know what Hideki's doing, but he should show up soon because he is awesome.
Yeah, we do need him. They have everyone else. They need him too.
The third and final match announced for the show so far, the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles, Yoshinari Ogawa and Hayata defending against Ikuta Hidaka and Nosawa Rangai. That could be great. The only thing holding it back is Hayata, who, like, I maintain is like he's like the one Noah Junior that to me is like people say, oh, the Noah Junior business is bad. It's usually great, but Hayata is not good. I don't know what the deal is with him. He's like the one guy who drags some of these matches down for me. But the other three are so good though that this should still be good. I don't know. No thoughts on the big junior tag title match? Oh, did I lose you?
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
Okay, I was saying the junior tag title match, Ogawa and Hayata against Hidaka and Nosawa Rangai. Any thoughts on that? My only thought.
That'll be good.
Yeah, like 3 out of the 4 guys are good.
Ogawa will not give us something bad. I trust their judgment.
Yeah, 3 out of the 4 guys are good. I never really like Hayata that much, but
he's fine.
Yeah. So there's your Noah. Okay, let's get over to Tokyo Joshi, still incomplete, in front of 510 fans. I don't know how we went like over an hour on 3 matches, so we'll try to.
We got so talking about the Enochiists, but I have something else. There's breaking news.
Oh, what's the breaking news?
That is MLW got a Vice TV contract.
Okay, sure. Well, is that a promotion people really watch? That feels like one of these promotions.
Lanzo watches it?
I guess. Is that the only person? I've never heard of anyone else watching it.
Shit.
I've never heard of anyone else.
I think they put their show on YouTube. Let me take a...
I mean, the last time I remember anyone talking about anything that happened on MLW television was when they ran an angle about like the Lucha Brothers getting deported. And that was a while ago now.
I have been to multiple MLW TV tapings.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I have not.
Have you ever been to an ROH TV taping?
Yeah, they're horrible.
Yes. So imagine that, but lower rent. And
yeah, that sounds pretty bad. Okay, so
the last episode of MLW Fusion was 5 days ago. It was main evented by Alex Hammerstone versus Mil Muertes, 2 Noah legends, I believe.
Okay.
But it has 76,000 views.
Okay, look, somebody's watching it, I guess.
People are watching MLW. It looks like they get like 80 to 100,000 views of all their episodes in like a week.
Yeah. Good for them, I guess. I don't know.
They have like the current generation Von Erich kids.
Oh, including the one who's the one from the Lacey Von Erich was crazy.
I don't think they brought her in, but they should.
Okay. Yeah. Do you
They
see that
have
montage
Loki.
of her at WrestleCon?
No, I didn't. What
Okay.
happened?
So Lacey Von Erich, for people haven't seen this, we're getting off topic again, but I got to tell this one. So her whole thing is she will go to these WrestleCons to make money, but she never watched wrestling and she fucking hates it because it killed her fucking whole family, so it's understandable.
Yeah,
So
no, it's totally reasonable.
So she's wandering around this WrestleCon, in between making comments about how she hates masking, she hates wearing a mask. She's basically just like trying to understand what's going on. She'll run into wrestlers and be like, she runs into Kevin Nash wearing an NWO shirt. Apparently thinks that's MLW, and says like, "Oh, you work for them too?" And Kevin Nash is like, "Huh?" And she's like, "You work for them, right? For them, the one on your shirt?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh yeah, me too." And then she like leaves. That's the entire conversation with Kevin Nash. There's
They
no
must
idea.
have like a parody NWO shirt that she saw.
And she like runs into Ted DiBiase and like on camera like says that oh, you work for WWE? Yeah, they killed my dad, and like wanders off, and Ted gets this look on his face like he is not happy because I guess he's wearing like a WWE like like a WWE like off like a polo. And yeah, it's just an amazing video. You have to go watch it. Like
I do. I want to see her
Twitter.
cute. I want to see her just like assault the $1 Million Man like that.
It's like really, it is really, it's really something that whole video. So yeah, it's really worth watching. But yeah, she seems insane, but in a good way.
Yeah, that's like the essential part of this.
Yeah. Hey folks, it's time for another awkwardly inserted ad read here since I forgot to record it while we're recording live for the second week in a row. But I just need to let you know here that Wrestling Omakase this week is once again brought to you by Manscaped. Now, if you've ever been sitting around at home asking yourself, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming? There's only one answer to that. It is Manscaped. They offer precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over the technology developments to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men. Folks, like I said last week, that's a lot of men. Over 2 million men worldwide trust Manscaped to give them the best grooming experience. And now you can too, because we have an exclusive offer for my listeners, 20% off and free shipping with the promo code Omakase. That's OMAKASE at manscaped.com. So basically here, if you want to trim that junk of yours, 20% off, free shipping with the code Omakase at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. So, get 20% off right now, free shipping right now, promo code Omakase, manscaped.com. That's 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com with our promo code Omakase. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. So let's get to Tokyo Joshi. Still incomplete, April 17th, 2021. Korakuen Hall, 510 fans. 200 plus more than these New Japan Korakuens lately.
These I watched this live with people, and thankfully we like all were in agreement of just the mutual respect for like the absolute beasts that show up in the middle of a deadly pandemic to watch Tokyo Joshi Pro.
Yeah, in a country like they can't you cannot even get vaccinated in Japan. You can't unless you're like a medical worker. You're not getting vaccinated right now in Japan. I think they've vaccinated like 5,000 old people or something. Like total. Like these people are the real crazy people. Never mind the WrestleCon, or not WrestleCon, the GCW people. Like some of those 20 people might have been vaccinated, and I mean.
Did you watch any of the Mania Week shows?
I did not.
I was shocked with how many people were at like the Friday and Saturday night shows.
Oh yeah. Well,
I saw the pictures of the day where there was like 15 people, but it looked like they had hundreds of people at the night ones.
Well, nothing really surprised me. Yeah, but
I didn't think enough people flew in to like get that many people there.
because I didn't. This is the first year for me a weekend where I did not know a single person who was going.
No, I mean, which is like expected. I assumed it was just people who lived in driving distance.
Yeah, because like, I did not know a single person, and obviously tons and tons of people I know go to Mania weekend, and
Yeah,
I knew,
at this point, I know 20 plus every year.
and I know plenty of people who. I mean, I'm fully vaccinated. I could have gone, I guess, pretty safely.
I am not. I just got the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I got the first one like February 15th or something. So, I would have been past my 2 weeks for my second shot. I just was not going to fly to Florida to see this Mania weekend. I
No.
mean, really was not a safety issue for me.
Yeah, I just wouldn't go.
I just wouldn't go to
Are you
Florida.
saying you don't want to? Are you saying you don't want to go to Florida in the middle of a pandemic to watch Alley Cat's Real Hot Girl?
I guess that's what I'm saying. But yeah,
I don't believe you.
yeah. So, but yeah, you're right. These people are the true madmen and women.
Yeah, these are like the true beasts that keep the Tokyo Joshi Pro fandom alive.
But yes, the main event here for the Princess and Princess title, Rika Tatsumi defeats Maki Ito with the missile hip in 1936 for her second defense. Apparently, we're going to disagree here because I thought this was good.
I really expected to like love this, and I thought it was just okay.
Yeah, I mean this. You might be the. I mean, they might be more like I know Liam in the voice.
It seemed like it's the people I talked to. It seemed like it was like 60-40. Like really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit below 4 stars, but I thought it was really good. Like Maki was like really taking control of this one from the start, like really working over Rika. But Rika, of course, fired up with these multiple hip attacks for a 2 count. Maki got a DDT on the apron just before the 10-minute call. And then Maki, this I loved. She started like specifically targeting Rika's hips with her headbutts. And she hits like one off the top rope. It looks like it landed directly on the hip. And this is equal parts logical and ridiculous looking. So I really liked it. Maki at one point just starts fucking biting Rika's hand out of nowhere. Very vicious. And Rika, though, gets Maki in the Dragon Sleeper. Maki puts her middle finger up when the referee starts dropping her arm to check on it. Maki then gets her own Dragon Sleeper on, but and then turns it into a DDT just when it looks like Rika's about to get out. And Rika gets a top rope like twist of fate or like a cutter. I mean, very Nigel McGuinness style. I thought. I remember he used to have the London Tower. I think he called it. That was a very close near fall. And she goes for the Dragon Sleeper again. Maki avoids it, gets a jackknife hold for her own very close near fall, but then runs right into a very big hip attack from Rika. When she really gets great on some of these hip attacks, she gets like a great standing leap, and she got a really great one here. And then Rika hits the twist of fate, the missile hip, and that's the pin. I thought it was really good by the end. A little slow maybe, but it built well.
My only issue, it felt like they just did way too many like kickouts.
Mm.
I thought and there was one point where they just did they did like a kind of like stunner like move for the second time, and I'm just like, all right, let's take this home. Let's get on this.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it built really well with good drama. I managed to stay unspoiled, so that helped.
I watched it live, so it was not. This is the best promotion because they run all of their shows to finish at like midnight our time.
Yeah, but it was like I had a sincere feeling of not knowing which way this was going to. So
I was 50-50 going into it.
Yeah, so I went 3 3/4. Really enjoyed it. Just not quite a 4-star level to me. Afterwards, Rika delivered a promo where she puts over Maki Ito and then challenges Miyu Yamashita, the former Super Ace. I'm not really surprised by that, considering what happened on the undercard, which we'll get to.
Yeah, I don't know who else would have been. It feels like they've done like all the other names.
Yeah, and Rika says
you're not going to do a Saki Samek. She obviously, again, the next result we'll get to.
Yeah,
and you're not. I don't think they're going to do title versus title already. It feels like they just made that other belt.
Yeah, last year I think. They made an international title like right before the pandemic, which was
Is that still
unfortunate.
technically on Thunder Rosa, or did they pass that to
No,
someone else?
that's now it was in match 5 with Yuki Kamifuka.
Oh, I don't know why I'm thinking. Like, I'm thinking of it like a third title for some reason.
I see. No, it's like a second title. Yeah, second singles
Mhm.
title. But Rika says she's never beaten Miyu. That doesn't seem to be true, though. She pinned Miyu, according to Cage Match, for the DDT Iron Man title in November 2018 in Saitama. It doesn't even have a match time listed, though, so probably just under some wacky circumstance, and she's not counting that. So,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I assume that's non-canon.
But either way, she seems to be 0-3 against Miyu in quote unquote normal singles matches. Their last meeting was a Princess of Princess title match at Korakuen Hall, May 3rd, 2018. So it's kind of like coming full circle here because they're going to meet again.
I know I had that as a top 5 match of the year they did that.
Yeah, that was an awesome match. I remember that one. But they're going to meet here May 4th, 2021, back at Korakuen. So 3 years later. Does Yamashita win? Put you on the spot. I say no.
How long ago did she lose the belt?
It's been a while now. It's been like I think like 2019, like mid 2019.
I think she's gonna win.
Yeah.
I don't see like I don't know. I don't see who the next person is if they don't drop it here. I feel like they beat everyone high on the card.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, so I'll say yes. I think they're going to change it here.
I forgot to mention, by the way, a full pre-show, a few pre-show announcements I wanted to mention. The show opened with the announcement of this year's Princess Cup schedule. So they're doing 4 straight shows at Shinkiba, July 22nd through July 25th for the first and second rounds. The semifinals on July 31st at Shinjuku Face, and then the finals will be August 15th at Korakuen Hall. We will have daily tournament coverage just like we did last year on the Omakase Patreon. So patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase.
How long have you been watching this promotion?
For I think since like God, I don't know about the year. Whenever they were doing Saki-sama versus Rika Tatsumi the first time, so I want to say that's 2017, maybe
I feel like I
2016.
started watching it like whenever the first DDT universe launched and they started putting it up was when I started watching.
Yeah, so we probably started watching at the exact same time.
I can't believe how good like all of these people are now.
Yeah, I know.
It's very funny to think of just how much like most of these people sucked.
Yeah, I know. So let me see. Where can I find Saki? Let's see if I can find her matches. But yeah, I mean, I just remember when I first started watching, whenever that was. I don't know what year BT Universe launched. Was it 2017? Maybe it was 2016. I don't know.
I think it was 17 or 18. Yeah.
Okay, because it looks like Rika. Okay, so it looks like the big Saki-sama and Rika Tatsumi feud. Like they did a few matches in 2015, but it looks like the big feud was 2017. So that has to be when I was watching. So, because I definitely remember that feud. So that was because I remember thinking that feud was like the only good thing in the company at the time. Because like so many of those other wrestlers, like you said, were just not good. So
No, yeah, that was like the very earliest part of all these people's career.
yeah, and I don't know. It seems like the rookies they've gotten since have been a little better, quicker, probably.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just being
some
able
of
to
them
work.
have just they definitely have their share of bombs, but like one of every 3 of them is picking it up somewhat quick now.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably just being able to work with people who other people know what they're doing instead of like, all of them trying to figure it out together at once, which was really something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was So you and I probably started watching around the same time because I remember having a conversation with Jamie, who runs the Dramatic DDT site, and just talking about like how bad it was. And how we might have been the only 2 people watching it, but
it's like you two, me, Teddy.
but yeah, I mean,
Like
it
the
really
only true original Nodoka heads.
it really picked up after that. But anyway, the other big thing we got pre-show here is we meet Yuki Arai, who is a current member of the idol group SKE48.
Is that one of the big ones?
That is one of the big ones, one of the 48 groups. I mean, that's the one that do you remember the name Jirina Matsui?
That was the person they used to have do like the New Japan
pre-show. And she had
stuff.
like a crush on Kenny Omega. That was always a thing. And like, yeah, she was like SKE48's like ace of the group or center, whatever the fuck they call it. That's my friend Ethan. He knows idols is like his whole life. But yeah, you're right. Yuki Arai, she's from SKE48. Jarena just graduated, by the way. I think like literally a week ago was her graduation concert.
Oh, that's what all the. That's who's with like all the pictures they have of Marufuji flexing in the Idol concert,
I guess so.
right? Have you
Yeah,
seen these?
I haven't seen them. I don't know, but yeah. So Yuki Arai, she debuts for Tokyo Joshi on the May 4th Korakuen. So I guess she will be the first ever active Idol roster member of like a real Joshi promotion, because I mean, they obviously all those idols have their own promotion, and where like uh, Aja Kong trade them and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I should ask the some like Joshi expert people.
Yeah,
If
someone I know. I know this can't be true. No offense. I think you do too, but I
yeah,
have no idea what the right answer is. It's probably
yeah,
someone in 1992 from
yeah,
before
they're
I was
probably
born that I
there
just
must have been some other there must be some other idol group that put a fucking wrestler, but like full time. I guess is the question. I don't know.
I
So
want.
I guess
Are they putting like real money into this now?
I don't know. It's a good question, right?
Because the idea of them having like money to play with this promotion is always so funny. Because there's just so many funny people on this roster.
Yeah,
Like the more like quote unquote actually good people you bring in, the weirder it's gonna get.
yeah.
Like having to have like normal people do Raku matches.
Yuki Arai said, quote, and again, DT Pro underscore ENG for all these translations. DT Tokyo Joshi English update. So if you don't know that, obviously we use him all the time for DDT. We use his Twitter translations, but also he does it for every Tokyo Joshi show too. So she said, quote, I will be debuting as a wrestler while being an idol, so I'm still a bit nervous whether you fans will accept me. But I hope that people will look back to my debut as a success. Watch me grow and evolve. So there you go. And the Tokyo Joshi show she's debuting at will also have English commentary. So I don't. They didn't
They
say.
brought
I
the
don't know if they
British
said.
guys back.
They didn't say live. I don't know if it's going to be live or not.
They
Because
bring.
like,
I feel like it's always live. Isn't it?
okay, I don't know.
I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know.
think the last time I tried to watch it live that it wasn't. It feels like every time I want to watch it, it's always on live.
Okay, so I'll try it out if it's going to be live. So I'm sure we'll cover it because the Korakuens are fun. Then the Up Girls came out to do a performance. If you're wondering, Raku's train of the day is the Odo Rico, which is a limited express train service in Japan, operated by JR East and JR Central and the ECQ Corporation and Izu Hakone Railway, which runs between Tokyo and Izuku Shimoda or Shuzenji in Shizuoka Prefecture. So
How
that's her
many
train.
Raku trains of the day have you personally been on?
I don't know. I definitely haven't been on that one, but I've been on a bunch of them.
That one sounds a little bit specific.
Yeah, that one sounds like it's a little obscure probably, but that's her train of the day. The Rocky train of the day. I hope someone's keeping a list. If you're keeping a list,
This is the best promotion in the world, right?
it's high up there. If you're keeping a list of Raku train of the days, please at me on Twitter at Wrestling Omakase.
We need to figure out how many you've been on.
Yeah, I really want to know the Raku train of the day. You've been to Japan, haven't you?
For very briefly.
Okay, so you probably haven't been on that many trains of the day.
No.
Raku train of the day. I don't know why, but when I read that, when I hear her start talking, I think of like Booker T's Fave 5. So that's the same. It has the same energy. It has the same energy to me as the Fave 5. So the Booker T Fave 5, the Raku train of the day. That's the same energy to me. But there you go. The semifinal for the Princess Tag Team titles. I'm sure you were very upset. Saki-sama and Meisei Michelle. They defeated Nodoka Tenma and Yuki Aino when Mei pinned Aino with a cradle in 1736. So the Bakaretsu sisters fail in their third defense, and Nioh Bishiki-gun become the 8th tag team champions. Do you want to? You could probably pass this pop quiz. This is Saki. Do you know what how many tag title reigns Saki-sama's had?
Tag title reigns. I'm gonna say 3.
Yes, this is her third one. Can you remember her 2 prior partners?
One was Azusa Christie, and
Yes.
the other was Hyper Miseo, right?
Yeah, there you go. So she's had 3 tag title reigns with 3 different partners. So obviously both are a record. I don't think anyone else has even held these belts twice so far. So
I don't think anyone else has had it.
3 out of 8.
It feels like they always split the tag teams up other than this one.
Yeah.
Which even then, technically, they just bring back new incarnations of.
Yeah. So the Nioh Bishikigun, they won the Max Heart Tag Team Tournament, extremely Tokyo Joshi tag team tournament name, to earn this title shot. During the build-up, again quoting from the English Update account, Saki-sama said the sisters should retire and find jobs as the amusement park mascots Cork and Pork, to which the sisters responded by coming up with food truck menus to sell in the park. Like they brought these. They showed this in the preview. They brought these little fucking sandwiches to them that had pork on them, and Saki looked disgusted. So it's really.
How do they think of this shit?
I don't know. It's a great, whatever emotion.
People are visionaries.
May was very upset at the referee for not letting Saki-sama have the red corner. I guess they weren't listening when they were clearly announced as our corner, but blue corner. So May and Udoka, no shit, start this match off with a fucking dance-off. Like I felt like I was watching Jack Evans in 2004, but more like the ballroom spinning version. They even start dancing together, but then the evil maid turns on Udoka and starts attacking her. So, but yeah, just watching them dance was so fucking funny. Doesn't go well for her though, and it's kind of funny to watch Nodoka carry May into the Bakuretsu sisters' corner while May yells like Saki-sama, like very desperately. Just very funny. But Saki-sama does intervene from the outside, which lets May take control. And, at one point she does like this slow bridge, like leaning back into an Indian deathlock with an increasingly like serial killer like smile. It was genuinely creepy. I don't know. It looked genuinely creepy, like watching her do this. Saki-sama at one point like suplexes Yuki Aino onto her own sister, and then takes May by the hand and like lifts her onto the second rope so she can do a double stomp onto the sister pile. That was awesome. It was like the perfect combination of like Saki-sama's whole like look at how elegant I am, like hand motions, but like with just really cool and like kind of innovative offense. So I mean, look, Saki-sama, she plays his character better than like anyone else in wrestling plays a character.
She's incredibly committed to this.
I don't even think it's close. Actually, I can't think of anybody who is as into
doing this for so long too.
Yeah, like I can't think of anybody who is more convincing than Saki Akai is as a fake French noble, or whatever the fuck she's supposed to be. So it's really something. Nodoka, gets this like really tight headlock takedown of May. I don't mean that as in like an outdated slang phase, but like really physically tight headlock. And like it looked better than pretty much all the headlocks on the last Champion Carnival show I watched. Not to keep making fun of the Champion Carnival, but like, which I said has been good, but this headlock was better than, because one of the Champion Carnival nights was like obsessed with headlocks. I think it was night 5, and this headlock was better than all of them.
Well, that from All Japan currently can't compare to Tokyo Joshi Pro. It's just not. It's not on the same level.
That's very true. They go back and forth with flash pin attempts until May finally rolls Nodoka up for the pin, and that gives Nioh Bishikigun the belts. I'm not sure if I should be surprised at that finish or not. I thought maybe with the heels winning the tournament as their big achievement, that was just like to set them up losing the big challenge here, but I can't really blame them for going all the way with this team. It's May is very amusing as this maid. You can tell she really enjoys doing it. So and it does suck for the Bakuretsu sisters, but they had a longer title reign than I thought before I looked it up. It was like 161 days, so over 5 months, and only 2 defenses, but could have been worse. But yes, the match itself was quite good. A lot of the good back and forth and. A lot of good back and forth stuff. A lot of good double teaming from both sides. I went 3.5.
Yeah, I can't. This gimmick has been good for like 5 years.
It's really weird.
This shouldn't have like the longevity it's had.
Yeah, like the fans never seem to get tired of it, and Saki never seems to get tired of doing it. I mean, maybe part of why it's good and why it works.
They always pull it off for
months
at a time.
Yeah, they always give it a break. So like when maybe it's getting a little stale or something, they give it like 6 months off or something. So that could be
They
the
need
case.
to bring Yukio back.
Yeah. Yukio St. Laurent. Or what was that his name, right? I think.
It's something close to that.
And the doctor who like turned out to be an evil doctor or something. I remember that's how Rika Tatsumi lost one of her matches. He like the doctor turned on him.
What happened to Martha?
Martha, that's a big question. I don't know.
That's an important question to answer.
That was how the doctor turned. I now remember this. So Rika Tatsumi thought she finally had Saki-sama cornered because she was going to have Martha get an inspection by this doctor to prove that Martha was actually a man. Which I'm like, I don't know if I love this angle for a couple of reasons, but okay. But then doctor was like, no, Martha's a woman, and Rika Tatsumi's freaking out, and it's like, well, how did you come to that conclusion? And then it's revealed the doctor was in Saki-sama's corner all along. So there you go. What a twist. So
This is art.
this is art. But yes, they got. This is what the people demand. They got interrupted in their post match by the B Stars, who earlier won a match. So we'll get to that in a second. But yes, their title challenge will happen on the May 4th Korakuen. I should mention who the B Stars are: Mirai Mayumi and Suzume. And Saki-sama only gave in because she said that she and May were in a rush to get back to leveling up their Monster Hunter characters. It's a little weird thing for her to say. Not as I expected her to say at all. But May was like frozen from the shock of being interrupted. She did not move a fucking muscle for all this time. It was amazing. Saki-sama had to finally like wave the other tag belt in her face like she's some kind of fucking pet to get her out of this frozen state, and she went nuts for this belt. So there you go. She's very happy to have both belts. So, and Saki-sama doesn't give a shit because she's Saki-sama. She don't need no belts. So.
Is the Bumblebee like the fastest rising, like one of their trainees to go from funny to just pretty good at this?
Oh, Suzume?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she is probably. Like, she's actually... Because Mirai Mayumi was one of the ones who was good, like... She was good the moment she debuted.
Yeah, they put her on right away.
Yeah.
But the Bumblebee was, like, very bad for the first, like, month or two, but got good quick. And, like, the ones of them that don't start getting good after a few months generally stay not very good.
Yeah. So.
Speaking of the TJP undercard, did you see the sad news?
Well, oh, the Space Ranger is
Tokyo
retiring.
Space Ranger.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that when we get to a match, but it's very sad. What are you gonna do?
I am.
Match number 5.
Anytime they lose a member of the Tokyo Joshi roster, it's always sad.
It is very sad. Match number 5, Yuki Kamifuku defeats Nao Kakuta with the famouser 902, Yuki's third defense. Speaking of people who used to be bad, like, remember how horrible Yuki Kamifuku was? Like, she could not move in the wrestling ring.
This is someone who, by their own admission, had never watched this stuff before, kind of just taking this weird gig to do it.
Yeah, so she had no fucking frame of reference for it. She did not have any natural talent for it, that's for sure. And she will tell. I mean, I did her during like the early days of the pandemic. I did her when she was offering Japanese lessons. I did that. So I was on a Zoom with her, and she was basically explaining how she hates doing singles matches because she thinks she's horrible at them, and that was last year. So I mean, like we're talking like
now they gave her a belt.
Yeah, like basically last year. So like she would tell you more than anybody that she was horrible. And at that point, I didn't think she was even that horrible anymore. I thought she was being
she was fine
too hard on herself. But now she's like pretty good. Like she's gone from being one of the worst wrestlers on the roster to being like perfectly acceptable. At one point, she does a front suplex in this match that like was one of the better front suplexes I've seen in quite a while. So she's gone from being like really awkward at even the most basic wrestling moves to like she's doing them pretty well.
Did they hire like real trainers at some point in the last like year and a half?
Yeah, maybe, right?
There's got to just be some, I don't know, like some of these people they've all gotten like good fast at the same exact time.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a pretty good match. I went 3 1/4 here. Now almost got a victory, but because she survived the first Famouser and then got her crossface locked in. But Yuki escaped this tribute to the late Chris Benoit and put her away with a second Famouser. Or
We're
Famous.
shouting out the crippler.
Nothing too special here. Nothing too special here, but a pretty good little match that I enjoyed. I went 3 1/4.
This is the Rat Chaser match, I believe. Was the
Chaser?
belt?
Oh yeah,
Isn't that what she kept calling her?
I think something like that. Yeah.
She's clearly proud of that one because they kept saying it over and over.
Match number 4. Okay, this was fucking weird as shit. There's a 3-way tornado tag. Okay, that's how this match was presented. Hyper Misao and Shoko Nakajima versus the Magical Sugar Rabbits, Mizuki and Sakazaki, versus B-Star, Mirai, and Suzume. First of all, Magical Sugar Rabbits have a new theme song remix. It's like a piano intro before they get into the mashup of the theme songs. New gear, too. Very good stuff. But like the start of this match, Misao and Shoko get in an argument about the effectiveness of Misao's secret plans. And Misao is like, fine, I'm going to go join the Sugar Rabbits. And Shoko's like, fine, I'm going to go join B-Star. And the match seems like it got changed into a normal 6-person tag from a 3-way tornado tag. Because it's not just like the two sides, are like 3 each at this point, but like they start standing on the apron and tagging themselves in and out. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I am not the only person who was confused here. The Japanese announcers are like, what the fuck is going on? Like they start fighting each other, and then they start fighting their own teammates, and then other people are still standing on the apron, and the Japanese announcers are like, is it a 3-way tag? Is it a 6-person? Like, I guess the idea was, maybe, they never really explained this, I guess the idea was that Misao's secret plan was to pretend they were on each other's teams, and then to try to get the win that way. But, like, it's very unclear, and it doesn't make, it just was really needlessly confusing. But yeah, what I could make out of the announcers, they were just as confused. But yes, the end of the match, Mirai got a gigantic pin, the biggest of her career. She pinned Shoko Nakajima with one of her awesome lariats. Obviously, a big step up for her for pinning a former Princess champion here. And you can hear the crowd like audibly react. So both the Sugar Rabbits too did a great job of looking like they were in disbelief. So finish was cool. Match itself didn't really land with me. I thought it was needlessly confusing. It's not that interesting.
Yeah, I do not get most of the Misao stuff they've done for the past, like, at this point, like 2 years.
Well, you really just have to read the translations, but like
you do, but you have to be reading it while you're watching it, and
this time even doing that though didn't really help. So I don't know.
Yeah, there was never not got what they were going. I think this is something you just have to speak the language to really get.
Yeah, I guess so. I think even then this was a badly executed one though, because there was never a moment where either one of them was like, "Haha!" It just kind of happened. I don't know. Just kind of started fighting each other.
Yeah, I don't get what they're doing with this.
Yeah, it was really weird. But back to good here, really good. I thought this was the match of the show.
Yeah, this is the best on this one.
Yeah, Miyu Yamashita defeats Hikari Noah with the skull kick in 9:30. Miyu, she seemed to be like in a especially nasty mood here. She had like this angry scowl on her face pretty much from the moment she walked out for the start of the match. So I don't know what was up with that. I don't know if there's like a storyline reason I'm missing, but she was like really angry in this match for some reason. She pretty much dominated Noah on the mat early. Very unsurprising. But then Noah was able to turn the tables with a rolling cradle right into a Cobra twist. Really cool little transition. But Miyu was able to make it to the ropes to break. Noah stays in control for a bit after that. Miyu quickly shuts her down with a big tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, a jumping lariat, and then a nasty-looking Fujiwara armbar just before the 5-minute call. Like, she's really stretching this arm, and Noah's selling here was great as well. Noah is finally able to get the ropes to break that one. Noah then gets back on the offensive, gets a missile drop kick, but Miyu puts her right back down with a kind of weak-looking knee attack to the head. But that leads to a back-and-forth sequence I really liked. The highlight is where Miyu just like deadlifts Noah out of nowhere. Like, Miyu is one of these wrestlers who's like even more powerful than they look like. I feel like she has like just, I don't know, like the the leg strength or something, but she like really deadlifts girls sometimes.
Yeah.
And like lifts her straight into a Death Valley driver position. Noah maneuvers herself onto Miyu's back from there though, and gets like a cobra twist out of there. Miyu escapes, gives a very angry looking back look back to the camera, which had the female commentator just saying "scary" repeatedly when she did that because like she was very frightened. And Miyu at that point sort of like powers her way back to her feet in a way it's a little hard to describe, but it looked really cool. Hikari, though, counters back and hits a blizzard suplex hold. I love that Hikari Noah is keeping the blizzard suplex alive. Who the fuck else does a blizzard suplex in 2021? You know? That was it. Do you know who came up with that move? It's a wrestler.
I do not. Who?
So it's a wrestler no one would ever get now because he became so different from his original persona. Fucking Takashi Iizuka was the blizzard suplex guy.
Really?
Yeah, like during his original New Japan run. I should say I don't know 100% that he invented it, I guess. I think he did. But either way, it was like he definitely used it, nonstop from the like mid 90s on. So until he went, into that crazy wild man gimmick. I think he did one in his last match, and people like really popped for it because he hadn't done it in years and years at that point when in that wild man gimmick he was doing.
Which was a great gimmick.
It was a great gimmick. I missed the wild. I mean, it was for as much shit as people give New Japan. They, a lot of it deserved. They nailed that Iizuka retirement, like having him just fucking rampage into the distance, basically, without ever like turning back or anything. It was so great.
I looked this up. There's gifs of Bison Kimura doing it, who I think appeared in the mid to late 80s.
Okay, so maybe he actually.
So she's probably the first one.
Yeah, she's probably the inventor. But I guess Iizuka kept the flame alive for a long time, and now so it went from Bison Kimura to Takashi Iizuka to Hikari Noah. What a lineage!
That is. I mean, anytime you get Iizuka in direct lineage, you've done something great.
Exactly. Noah at this point. Oh, so Miyu gets her foot on the rope for the blizzard suplex. Noah then tries to score the pin with some flash cradles. Gets a very close near fall with one of them. But Miyu tries for the skull kick. Noah keeps ducking that and ducks some more kicks. Then gets her super kick for a 2 count. But then Miyu finally gets the skull kick, kills her with it as usual. And that's obviously her pin. But yeah, this is a really good sprint. Really a lot of fun. Really inventive sequences here. I loved it. Like I said, everything from that deadlift Death Valley driver on. And like Miyu's like nastier attitude than usual was really interesting to me. And, at the time watching this, I was like, well, with her having been out of the main event scene for a while now, perhaps she'll go back to the title. And that did happen after the, she is the next challenger, as we found out later that night.
I feel like she was the obvious challenger no matter who won. Yeah.
Yeah. But Hikari Noah did get a lot more offense than I thought she would here. And she looked great. So I would glad to see this one 3 3/4 for sure.
Yeah, this was very good.
Match 2 was Miyu Watanabe, Raku, and Palm Harajuku beating Yuna Manase, Mahiro Kiryu, and Haruna Neko. Raku pinned Neko with the Dr. Yellow in 10-10. First of all, Palm's entrance as an unofficial third member of the Up Up Girls, pretending she had a mic in her hand and was singing along. Very cute. She was very excited about this, so there you go. And then Haruna Neko, she's like a she's like a really underrated comedy wrestler. She comes up with like genuinely innovative ideas for her gimmick. Like early in this match, she does a sliding double cat scratch to a seated Palm Harajuku. I was like, okay.
This is the least mad to be here Unamonase match in a long time.
At least, yeah, for sure.
The past couple of times they've brought her back, she was just like looked annoyed.
Yeah, maybe she missed it finally. But I was going to bring her up right now because like I'm definitely a mark for Powerhouse Joshi, and Yuna like just does a great job throwing these other girls around like always. I definitely miss having her around more on Tokyo Joshi shows since she resigned as a roster member.
She was a replacement on this one, right?
I think so. Something like that. I think that.
I guess sense. I mean she's still contracted to the DDT family.
Yeah, so I was about to mention like she seems to be doing a lot more intergender stuff in Ganbare. That's what she ended up in Ganbare.
Yeah,
she's that may have been why she ended up there. Maybe she wanted to do that. I mean, it makes sense given her size. I mean, she's like 5'7" and a big lady. So she easily could look like, I'm sure she looks convincing in there with like, it's not like Gambare, I'm sure, is Land of the Giants for dudes, She's
No,
probably bigger than a lot of those dudes. Uh, Miyu, a small powerhouse in her own right. She goes head to head with Yuna. That was a really fun exchange. And she actually manages to get her up for the Canadian backbreaker. But she couldn't hold her up there for too long. Ends up taking a lariat from Yuna. Yuna then tags in Haruna Neko. And it looked like, I don't know, it looked like fucking Miyu Watanabe was starring in Alice in Wonderland or something. Because like she goes from fighting the much bigger Yuna to now fighting the much smaller Haruna Neko. Just kind of a funny back-to-back visual there. But Raku then hits Neko with her Dr. Yellow neckbreaker thing, and that gets the pin. Fun little match here, 3 stars, and the Miyu versus Yuna stuff, definitely the highlight for me.
this is like the meeting of all the characters.
Pretty much. But I
They
enjoyed
need
this.
to do something with Kiryu. I feel like that's like the one right now that needs something.
Yeah, because she's good. She's been good for a while.
She needs some juice.
The opener was Marika Kobashi, who I'm very happy to see back, and Senna. I mean, she's been back for a while now, but I mean,
Doesn't she keep like having to? Didn't she keep coming back, disappearing for a month again, coming back?
Yeah, because I guess because we're school. I guess I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, because that's why she took her a year-long break to begin with.
I thought they also like stopped putting people under 18 on this.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Is it like if you look at all the people there, they haven't had like a teenager in a while.
Yeah, and what's her name left? The one who was like 5'9".
Yeah, that one, like they got rid of her, and or I don't know if they got rid of her. She could have just quit or not wanted to do it anymore.
Yeah, she said she quit because she wanted to focus on high school. But I'm like, okay,
That's understandable.
But yeah, I can't remember her name, but she was like the really, really tall, like 15-year-old. Uni, maybe
Yumi. Yes.
Uni's the kid from DDT. There's Yumi and Uni, I think.
Yes.
So,
but it seems like they don't use kids anymore.
Yeah,
which is good. I support that.
But she's over 18 now, so
yeah, they brought her back.
So she and Sena Shiori defeats Moka Miyamoto and Ariso Endo when Shiori submitted Watanabe with the checkmate in 8:39. So yes, very sad to hear, as you mentioned earlier, that Shiori has to retire soon for health reasons. So they basically gave her, they gave her like her first direct win of her career, tapping out Mocha with an arm lock half crab, I guess is what it is. I mean, that was her first direct win ever. So
are they going to do their retirement shows are always good. She's going to get one.
She's going to get like a retirement match, I think. Because he did say something like, keep cheering for me or whatever until, I retire. Who was the one who has like, I think it was Arisa Endo, who like her look stands out to me for sheer weirdness. Like she's wearing purple.
The hair in the outfit doesn't match it whatsoever. It's like a complete clash of colors. It's very weird.
Purple with yellow trim and Zubaz all over it too. And this weird like grayish hair, except for like bright yellow on the front, but not the same yellow like you said from the purple and yellow outfit. Really bizarre. I'm like, what are you supposed to be here, lady? Like, give me an idea here. But I don't know. There's a promotion that has Palm Harajuku in it, and she still stood out. I was like, what are you wearing? So
her shit is way more coordinated than that.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Just very bizarre. But yeah, overall, I call this pretty much your tip. Oh, the opener is like 2.5 stars. Very typical Tokyo Joshi opener. But yeah, good show. Not like the best Tokyo Joshi show I've ever seen, but a really solid Korakuen. I'm sure if you like Tokyo Joshi, you'll like this one. They really don't have bad shows very often, so.
No, their stuff is generally good.
Before we get to Talkin' Titan, let's just go over their upcoming show, which is May 4th. Yes, Wonderland 2021. We are still in the middle of our dreams. We have 3 matches so far. Yuki Arai versus X, Saki-sama and May Saint Michelle versus Mirai Mayumi and Suzume, and Rika Tatsumi versus Miyu Yamashita. All sounds good to me.
Yeah, that should be good. What's your favorite Tokyo Joshi show name ever?
It's a good question. I really do like Yes Wonderland. It is a great
What about
name.
where I go, you go, we all go to Nerima or wherever it was.
That's good. There was one I really liked. I have to look it up now. Let's see if I can find it. Because I remember there was one that was like really funny from like 20.
There was one about hot girls that was like kind of a mistranslation about like
Yeah.
being hot outside.
Yes, I think so.
But I forgot what the exact wording of it was. I remember that one was good.
I'm scrolling through right here to see if I could find. TJPW, the God of Pro Wrestling, My Arms Fell, Blurry Confession. That would have to be up there.
Yeah, that's good.
How do you like Narimasu? I remember when they were wrestling in Narimasu. And then they just had a whole series of how do you like Osaka? How do you like Kitazawa? How do you like Itabashi? And then go ahead, Hot Guys in Narimasu. There you go. Go ahead, Hot Guys in Shinkiba. Just like, there are some great. Okay, there's another. There was like when they had a series called Let's Go. Go. If you go, when you go, if you get lost, just go to blank. Just go to Osaka.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
So that might be the best one. But yeah, there's a lot of great Tokyo Joshi names. There you go. So that's Tokyo Joshi. We gotta get to Talking Titan now. We're already going long here, but we gotta get.
How long are we on this?
We're like just under 2 hours somehow on 3 NOAH matches and 1 Tokyo Joshi Cork.
The Enochiists.
I have gone like an hour and 20 minutes on like 3 full shows before, so I don't know what's going on. It's yeah, but we gotta get to Talking Titan.
We do have to talk some Titan.
So that's what the people are here for. So again, I'm gonna warn everybody. One more time.
I am not going to hold back on any spoilers. There will be no warning, no discretion. We are going to spoil the whole end of this. So if you want to watch it, you should turn this off now at the 2 hour mark. If you already listened to 2 hours of this, you did your part. We forgive you.
Hit the stop button right now if you don't want any Attack on Titan spoilers. This is, I mean, when I first started watching this show, it was like, okay, this cool, like, because my friend asked me this the other day. He was like, why was this show ever popular to begin with? And I was like, well, it's very like, it's got a lot of things going for it where like, it's like grim dark, which people always like. It's very violent, which people like, especially in anime. Like Western fans especially love violent anime. I mean, it's like they almost always gravitate towards it. Because that feeds into the perception of like, oh, this is like this mystic overseas shit where you're not supposed to watch. Whereas
it makes it feel more adult, even though this is like a teenage. This is for teenagers.
Yeah, but like it feels like it makes it feel adult, but also just like forbidden. And meanwhile, you could watch like I don't know Crayon Shin-chan or something and watch that's anime too. But that's obviously that's not going to fit into people's narratives about it. Yeah. And then, but then, so there's that reason, and it's steampunk, which people love steampunk. I've never been one who's like, oh, steampunk.
I don't think this is it steampunk?
It has. I mean, the fucking things run a little steam at one point, don't they?
I don't know. I feel like I guess I'm being pedantic over this.
Okay.
I think I'm just being pedantic over. Like,
it's steampunk-ish.
I get where you're going with it.
Yeah. And I think an underrated factor, people were into like the mystery of it, right? It's like, okay, why is the rest of the world not exist anymore? Why are there Titans? What are the Titans? Where did the Titans come from? And if you watch the first season of that anime, I don't know about the early part of the manga. I wasn't reading the manga early on. Did you read the early part of the manga?
So I watched the first season and then started reading it like right after it stopped airing.
Pretty much the same for me. So I watched the first season and then wanted to know what was going on. Like as I not right after it started airing, but like as it dragged on forever, waiting for season 2, I did finally start reading the manga to see what happened. So like, if you go back and watch that first season, I think it's completely understandable why it was such a huge hit. I think it makes a lot of sense why it connected. The moment
as soon as it was revealed that one of the other people was one of the evil things, I don't know about you. I feel like most people I know kind of guessed which direction it had to go in.
Yeah.
There was it couldn't have just been like these are weird monsters. They always had to be coordinated from coming somewhere.
Yeah. I will
And
say
I wish they didn't reveal that as early as they did. It's like a weird storyline nitpick.
Yeah. Well, I would say the moment that I first, it did feel weird to me at the time, and in hindsight, it was like the first big red flag. At the end of that first season, when they reveal like the wall is made of Titans, it's like, why did the wall be made of Titans? Doesn't make any fucking sense. What the fuck does this mean? And it
It
just
still
ends on
doesn't
that.
make any fucking sense.
No, it still doesn't make any fucking sense.
I
That was
think
like the
that's
first.
important. None of the plot holes were answered.
Yeah. So like basically that is the first one where you can like literally this crack in the wall where you see it's a Titan is like the crack in the facade of the series where like it makes no sense. This guy clearly didn't have it planned out beyond.
There's no way this guy thought this was going to get. Well, it ended on 139 chapters, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And
like
this
that.
is a monthly, so like
Yeah.
count in breaks. If they probably got 150 monthly chapters out of this thing.
Yeah, and this guy he made it up because like a tourist got him scared or something. I think was what the story of you have you read that story where he talks about the inspiration for it? Because like a tourist,
something like that. I read this
like
a while ago.
like a tourist grabbed him at a cafe, like a big dude, and he couldn't speak Japanese, so like they didn't speak to his language, so he couldn't like convey anything to him. So it's basically this idea of being like afraid, being held by a bigger person or thing, and not being able to communicate with it, which is kind of scary. I guess it makes sense why that would inspire this series, but like he didn't have any of this shit planned out. It's very clear.
There's no way any of this story was written like this. Yeah,
and the explanations got increasingly stupid. Like the idea that the rest of the world really was still there was fucking stupid. The idea that like the Titan powers were like this mystical thing passed down, but also weirdly scientific, that like you have to inject spinal fluid into people to fucking turn them into Titans.
Like it's a mysterious power of God, but there's also a very specific science to how it works.
Yeah. It's
I don't
really
know. It like went in like 30 directions,
and then
all the directions sucked.
They had that entire long arc. The God, what the hell was it called?
Politics, the Uprising arc.
The Uprising arc, where basically for something like 18 months, because like you said, there's a monthly.
Yeah, this is a monthly. It's not.
I think it was
not
longer.
Like a bad like jump show that you just have to sit through a bad, or like jump manga, you have to sit through something bad for like 3 or 4 months. This thing, like a shitty arc of this, is 2 to 3 years.
The Uprising arc was 51. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I got it almost exactly right. 17 chapters. So for almost a year and a half, I guess more like 14 or 15, because finally there are Titans at the very end of it. There's no Titans in Attack on Titan. Like basically the entire arc, we're just like, all right, here's some humans, and we got this Jack the Ripper guy, Kenny the Ripper, and this is what we're doing now. And it's like the entire time you're like, so where are the Titans? Like, are they just chilling? Are they just outside these broken? They're no longer trying to get through these broken walls. They're just out there chilling, I guess. Okay, and it's like really, really, really bizarre. And I will say the anime did a good job.
They figured out how to condense it.
Yeah, they condensed it as well as they could and made it somewhat watchable. So the
people who had to like direct this shit and format it are just gods. They made this thing largely watchable up until like this last season. It's just like it's evil. I don't know how else to describe it other than evil.
Okay, I was going to ask you because I haven't been watching it, so I don't know anything beyond when they get to the water. As far as like the anime, so
have
like
have you read the whole thing, or did you just read the ending?
I read like the descriptions. I guess I didn't read the actual manga.
Okay,
yeah.
So you've missed more incoherent nonsense and giant Titan wars and evil worms that never get explained.
But the anime itself, right? Like they're not doing a good job, trying to explain this shit anymore, or like.
I mean, there's only so much you can do when he doesn't write any explanation. It's not like you can accentuate the parts of the story that make sense. It's just fucking none of it makes sense anymore.
Yeah,
like he's introducing 10 characters an episode. All of these characters are either gonna die or just not appear anymore. Or like it's gonna be some like really stupid forced interaction with an old character who doesn't really matter.
That fucking family or whatever, I can't remember their names now, the one who had like the Warhammer Titan or something.
The Tiber family.
Yeah, what the fuck ever happened to them?
Nothing.
Nothing happened to them at all, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, obviously the guy died, but I think the rest of it, I think they get mentioned once or twice later. But
because they spent so much time on that in the part of the manga I was looking at, and it's like, okay,
the shitty arc where they introduce the fucking kids and they kill half the kids. It just sucks. I don't know. Like he has like 7 or 8 main cast characters that just do nothing up until the very end, but he just keeps adding more.
Yeah.
And then he brings Annie back, so there's another one. And then
she
you
ever
have
get a-
like the general is kind of important now.
Does
And
Annie
the
transform
cart
again?
lady is a
Finally?
good guy. What?
Does Annie ever get to like transform again? Finally?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of cool. I guess. Does she do anything?
She just fights with everyone at the end.
Okay, that's nice. So like I've read the actual ending. So explain the ending for people who need to understand this ending. So Eren at some point just seems to become the main antagonist instead of the protagonist.
Yes, so Eren, so he leads a terrorist movement to free him from the island, and then he activates the power called the Rumbling that basically destroys the whole world outside of the walls by having the Titans that are the walls just walk over everything.
And that kills 80% of humanity.
Yes.
And to be clear, this is the main character of the manga and the show.
Yes, but this is also presented as a happy thing because all of his friends got to live.
Seems legit. Killing 80% of humanity. A good thing. That's nice, I guess. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, where it turns out we're watching like Adventures of Hitler.
Yes.
Because he turns out to kill to like.
So I was wrong on this. I was always saying that I don't think it's like blatant fascist stuff. I think he's just a terrible writer who's like trying to write about the horrors of war and failing. But I think I was dead wrong.
Yeah, he just like likes fascism.
Yeah, no, he clearly just doesn't. The way he writes death, it's just a very trivial thing.
Yeah.
It's like a number that just gets discarded in the story. It's very strange. But then it also ends that the remaining people still alive are still at war with the island's people. So really this whole thing didn't even matter because they're fighting the same war with just less people.
Yeah, so the ending is the most bizarre part of it. Because, like, okay, Eren kills 80% of the world. He turns himself into this evil person. And, like...
which he knew he was doing the whole time. Because it's basically like... Did you see the last Avengers movies?
No.
You've never seen any of that. So, like, the big plot point of that in one of them is, like, the Doctor Strange character, like, sees all the future timelines... and sees like the only one where they win and does like the thing that sets that in motion. What it seems like he wrote, I don't understand it 100% yet. It's not very well done, but it seems like he went into this like spiritual other world that shows all the potential timelines. And he basically did that and went back and influenced all the things that happened. So it was the exact thing that gets them to like the one point where he gets to save everyone. But he has to become evil to do it,
and he has to kill 80% of the Earth.
Yes,
like it's not even like he has to pretend to be evil. He has to destroy the world and kill 80%.
Yes, but he has to pretend to hate his friends, which is the only real evil in this like idiot's writing. I hate this stupid comic.
He has to kill 80% of the world's population, and this percentage is not a big deal.
Yeah. No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a one-off throwaway line. But that's what everything in this stupid story is. It's like one-off throwaway lines.
I remember there is one point where because I remember people used to say he was like, a Japanese fascist specifically.
Well, now I think they're right. I always thought it was like this is like overcorrecting on something really popular that actually sucks was kind of always my opinion on that, but I was just wrong.
But there is like one weird throwaway line for maybe he put this in there as a...
Is it about like how the island has a bunch of resources and the other evil country wants them?
No. Well, there's one throwaway line where I guess I don't, because remember there's a stand-in for Japan that's not Paradise.
No, Paradise is not supposed to be Japan.
Right. So there's a throwaway line about how they all suck and how that island sucks and how the people there suck, and I'm just like, so are you a big nationalist? I don't really understand. Like, there's like some negotiation. I don't remember what the exact context of it was now, but it was like something about how much they suck and how much they have always sucked and will always suck or something.
It seems like the end also teases the idea that like the Japanese people in that world sided with like the Aryan terrorists who destroyed the rest of the world.
There you go.
So again, I don't know. Again, I'm still not totally sure there's like any direct ideology to this, and it's not just like the badly written nonsense of a shitty writer.
Yeah, I still lean towards...
I still lean before that, but it's like impossible not to acknowledge that on purpose or not, it's accidentally just like an evil work of fiction.
That's what I think. That's what I think it is. I think it's accidentally fascist.
And it's like very evil, though.
Yeah. But I don't know. It could be off there, but I just kind of have a feeling. I think he's just an idiot. I mean, that's just...
It's like when, you know of indie wrestling legend Schlack, right?
Yeah.
It's like when he got photoshopped doing a bunch of Zeke Hiles and was like, oh, me and my friend just did it. We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And you know what, Schlack? Maybe you're right, but it doesn't make it any better, man.
There you go. But yeah, so he killed 80% of the world, and all this shit happened. I knew they were going to play the I was just pretending to be evil card.
Oh yeah, 100%. It was obvious the second he started like being mean to his friends that like, oh, it was so obvious where they were going with it, and that's like what makes it so bad.
But like they still managed to do it in a way that shocked me, because then at the end of the show it's like, oh yeah, but everything still sucks.
Yeah, everything still sucks.
The only thing he did do, I guess, if you really want to look at it, he did say his original goal was to eradicate all Titans, like all the way back at the...
He did do it. No, he did exactly what he said, and he saved his friends.
Yeah, but he did it in the dumbest way possible, I guess, that killed 80% of the world. What a weird show. What a weird manga. And like, I really cannot stress enough, if you're listening to all this and you think any of it sounds cool or you want to watch it or read it, you should not do that.
No, you should do anything better with your time.
It was so horrible.
Anything, literally anything.
Like for years, you and I would just DM the other one to be like, "Have you seen the new? How fucking stupid the new Attack on Titan is?" Because it was always so fucking stupid.
Every time they like finish an arc, it was always stupider and stupider.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of some of the, because we basically just went over, like, we skipped past like 4 years worth of shit. And like it's so
yeah, I skipped the entire World War I arc. I skipped the war children who were living in the Nazi ghetto and being forced to fight and turned into Titans to save their family. And what else did I miss?
There's so much shit where I'm just like, okay, I don't know.
You missed a bunch of insane exposition about how Mikas's family name means she's actually brainwashed and a slave to her, and they also never follow any of on. You just kind of assume he's lying. I don't know. It just sucks.
Yeah, Mikasa never
gets, and it sucks.
I mean, she gets to kill him, I guess, at the end, but like,
yeah,
she never gets like a real satisfying ending to that whole, is she like really in love with him or not, or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's so stupid, but it all really just does suck. I guess that's a good place to leave it. It's really bad, and
it's the worst.
You should never watch it or read it. But
no, never.
I can't even, because it feels like I really do like the first season, the TV show, but like it's like the same thing. It's a very worse version of like why I never recommend the first season of Tokyo Ghoul to people, because like, you know, the first season of Tokyo Ghoul is like one of my favorite anime of all time. It's just so good, but like everything after that is so horrible. I don't know. Have you ever watched Tokyo Ghoul or no?
No, I never have.
So like the first season is really, really, really good. Like again, one of my favorite animes of all time. Just so good. Then they have Tokyo Ghoul. I think it's, oh god, I forget the fuck they call it. Some wacky name for the second season. It doesn't really matter. And that is horrible. And they completely change all sorts of shit from the manga in some of the dumbest ways possible, to the point where a lot of it makes no sense. It's just really bad. And then they kind of get it back on track with the third season with Tokyo Ghoul RE, which is, you know, pretty good. And they actually follow the manga as close as they can after the second season fucked it up. And then they do RE season 2, where they try to fit, I think, like 2 years worth of manga or something, an absurd amount, into a 12-episode season, because they want to just end this shit. And the show is completely unwatchable. Like basically every episode, it's like it's like the Vince Russo of anime. It's like stuff is happening in every 30 seconds, and characters are just like coming in and out basically every episode is like 35 chapters or something. So it's impossible to follow and makes no sense. And it's going so fucking fast. You're just like, who are these people? I don't even remember any of these people that you're just bringing back from, 2 seasons ago, expecting me to know who they are. And it's just really, really, really bizarre.
I'll still say this is worse than that.
Yeah, this is worse. Titan is worse. But Tokyo Ghoul, as much as I love the first season, I will never recommend the show to anybody because it just falls off such a fucking cliff that I can't really recommend it. I mean, the manga is apparently great. I never read the manga. But yeah, I mean, Attack on Titan, I love the first season of the TV show, but you can't recommend it to anybody in good conscience because they might try to...
You can you can get off now.
Yeah, they might try to watch and read the rest of it, which no one should ever do.
I mean, if you listen to the rest of this, you know what happens. You can be free.
Yeah, you don't have to keep watching it. So, I mean, I probably will go watch the anime.
I'm sure I'll end up seeing it, but I can't get upset what happens because I already know what's going to happen, and I feel like that makes it so much better.
Yeah. But yeah, the people who are like watching the anime who managed to avoid all the manga spoilers, I don't know how they're going to react. Has Eren gotten up to the point where he's Hitler yet, or no?
Yes, I think the pro-Eren terrorist movement has officially started.
Okay. I wonder how the anime people are taking that.
I think the anime people seem mostly happy, but me and someone else joined the official Reddit to see what the results to the Discord to see what these results to the spoilers were, and it was universally saying they should change the ending for the anime.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I saw on Twitter that people hated the fucking
ending. And these are the people that like it, not the haters like us.
Yeah.
Even they seem to hate it. So something tells me this is actually not gonna land.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, Kevin, you want to give us some plugs?
No, you know where to find me.
The Bad Wrestling Podcast. Come on.
Yes. What's my ad? I'm going to ignore don't follow requests to me specifically though. I have 100 of them that I don't go through.
So I won't put your Twitter, your actual ad here. I'll just put.
You can put it, but this is just a warning. It's not a personal thing. I just don't want to place who all 100 of the people in there are and figure it out.
So I just put the Bad Wrestling Podcast one.
Yes, but that one is good.
There you go. So what is?
Should listen to that. I'll send it to you. I forgot exactly how much. I don't use that account. It's on my phone, and I never look into it.
All right, hold on. I can get it for you in 2 seconds. Let's see.
Yeah.
If I follow you, it's at Bad Res Podcast. So WRES.
I forgot. We have multiple of them in the tank. I have no idea which is going to be the most recent one. By the time you hear this, I think it's going to be one on Blackcraft again.
Mm-hmm. The most recent one was March 21st. Wow, it's been a while.
Yeah, we've been doing them once a month. We have 4 of them recorded, and we just haven't been able to get them out quick because.
So they feel like the Man Scout.
Yes, the Man Scout Drake Manning. Yeah, the next one's definitely Blackcraft then.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, then let's everybody listening to this, of course, you can come and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling Omakase, Wrestling When Fit. You can come to the Patreon at patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase. Champion Carnival coverage continuing. And that'll about do it, folks. I just realized I forgot to do the ad for Manscaped again, so I guess I have to insert that into the middle again. I never remember to do the Manscaped ad, but it's manscaped.com, promo code Omakase. If you 20% off and free shipping. It's not the actual ad. I have to do an ad much earlier, but just to remind you. Do you ever get anything from Manscaped, Kevin?
I do not get ads, no.
We get these ads from the whole Voice Wrestling Network gets them, so I don't know. I feel like if you actually listen to all the the Voice Wrestling podcast, you must be like, I get it, Manscaped, all right. But
if you listen to the whole family, you gotta be sick of the scape.
But they're a great sponsor, folks. Manscaped.com, promo code Omakase. All right, folks. Thank you as always for listening, and we will see you. I didn't plug the next episode. It's Patreon only. So again, patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase, a new 5 matches episode with Voices of Wrestling's Kevin Cheat. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. He'll let me know next time. But he's the Australian correspondent. So he's given me a bunch of Australian wrestling to watch. I've never watched a single minute of Australian wrestling in my life, so that will be interesting. There you go. And the next time we're on the free feed will be 2 weeks from now for an episode I do not yet have a guest for. We'll talk some New Japan again finally. The Satsuma no Kuni shows from the 28th and 29th. The Hiroshima show with Naito and Okan for April 26th, which might be the only New Japan match I'm actually excited for. Plus the NOAH April 29th Nagoya show we talked about earlier will also be covered on that one. So back here on the free feed in 2 weeks. Want to hear us first next week on patreon.com/Wrestling Omakase. See you next time.